Introduction. Lin Xiaozha has traversed into the world of the Demon Child Nezha, reincarnated as the demon orb's manifestation, Xiaozha. As the heavenly tribulation approaches 3 years later, how shall he withstand it? In a moment of despair, a sword descends from the heavens. At the brink of life and death, he binds to the heavenly Dao BUG System and acquires the divine skill 100 blades received barehanded with absolute precision. Oh no, Nezha is out again. So what if he is out? What can we do? Exactly, what a lunatic. Chapter 1. The demon orb arrives, flames engulf the city. Amidst the billowing smoke, darkening the sky, houses collapse with a deafening roar. Raging flames, like ferocious serpents, lick the night sky, illuminating the fishing village beyond Chentang Pass as if it were a hell's cape. The air is thick with a suffocating scent of charred debris. Villagers flee in all directions, their cries and curses intertwining into a dirge of despair. The pungent aroma assaults Lin Xiaozha's nostrils, provoking a fit of coughs. Oh my! Monsters! Monsters! The villagers shout in terror, their faces etched with fear. The cacophony rises and falls, piercing through the thick smoke, echoing in Lin Xiaozha's ears. Wait, monsters? In bewilderment, Lin Xiaozha scans his surroundings, realizing he is ensnared within a sea of flames, the searing heat almost consuming him. He instinctively raises his hand to shield himself, only to discover, why is my hand so small? Chubby, smooth, soft. Looking down, he is astonished to find that he has transformed into an infant. Am I dreaming? His eyes widen in shock, disbelief washing over him as he grapples with the surreal nature of it all. Just last night, he was up late watching Nezha 2. The demon child rises, exhilarated by the thrilling scenes, and then, suddenly, he remembers nothing. Could it be that? He was so engrossed. Thus, he found himself in such an absurd dream. Yet this dream feels too vivid. The villagers' desperate cries resonate like hammers striking his heart. Wait, this is definitely not a dream. Lin Xiaozha seems to finally grasp the situation, his eyes widening in realization. He might have traversed to the very animated film he was watching and become the reincarnated Nezha of the demon orb. At that moment, a powerful force surges within him, wild and uncontrollable. It is this very force that has ignited the terrifying blaze. Memories belonging to the demon orb surge through his mind like a series of flashing slides. Lin Xiaozha strives to harness this power, yet he discovered that the power surged within him like a wild stallion, heedless of his commands. Alas! Stop! Please come to a halt. Furrowing his brow, he silently cried out in desperation, but to no avail. The flames blazed ever more fiercely, as if intent on consuming the entire world. At that moment, a radiant beam of golden light descended from the heavens, dazzling and forcing Lin Xiaozha to squint. Then, a plump figure materialized before him. Clad in a Taoist robe and wielding a whisk, it was none other than the celestial beauty, Tai Zhenren. Goodness, the merits are about to be stripped away. Tai Zhenren's eyes widened in fury, his face etched with anger. You wretched spawn, surrender at once. With a flick of his whisk and a hand gesture, a golden ring flew forth, encircling Lin Xiaozha's neck. The Qianquan ring. Lin Xiaozha recognized this magical artifact, which could perfectly suppress the demonic essence of the magic pearl. Indeed, as the Qianquan ring settled upon him, the violent force within Lin Xiaozha was instantaneously quelled, and the flames gradually extinguished. Yet the peril was far from over. A tall and formidable figure slowly emerged from the flames. Clad in armor and wielding a long sword, he regarded Lin Xiaozha with a complex gaze. Li Jing, the father of Nezha. Li Jing slowly raised his sword, and the shadow of death loomed over Lin Xiaozha. He felt like a lamb awaiting slaughter, helpless and despondent. In this critical moment, a mechanical voice suddenly echoed in his mind. Lin Xiaozha was momentarily taken aback, but then a glimmer of delight shone in his eyes. BUG System, you finally appeared. Ding! Host detected to be in extreme danger. The heavenly Dao BUG System successfully bound, granting a beginner's gift pack. Beginner task issued. Make Li Jing weep bitterly within 3 seconds. A task? Lin Xiaozha had no time to ponder further. He immediately accessed the memories of the magic pearl, seeking a way to turn the tide. Suddenly, an image flashed through his mind. Li Jing was secretly hiding a pouch of silver in. Got it. With a plan forming in his mind, Lin Xiaozha took a deep breath, placed his hands on his hips, and exclaimed, "Father, you actually hid your secret stash under the bed." His youthful voice possessed an astonishing clarity that startled Li Jing. Li Jing, the hand that raised the sword, froze midair, his eyes wide as saucers, disbelief painted across his face. How is this possible? How did you know? I thought. Regarding his hidden stash, no one in the household could possibly know besides himself. But this newly born rebellious child, how did he come to learn of it? At that moment, a furious roar erupted from within the room. "Li Jing, you scoundrel! How dare you hide your savings behind my back?" With a swift motion, a figure charged forward. It was Nezha's mother, Madame Yin. At this juncture, Madame Yin was seething with rage, her hair disheveled and her attire disarrayed, still not fully recovered from childbirth. "Madam, please allow me to explain." Li Jing's complexion turned ashen, and the sword in his hand clattered to the ground. He opened his mouth, intending to elucidate, but found himself at a loss for words, his face betraying a mixture of embarrassment and panic. "Explain? To hell with your explanations." Madame Yin met him with a furious fist, brimming with wrath. "Ha ha ha." Lin Xiaozha laughed uncontrollably. "Serves you right. Who told you to try and kill me?" "Ding. Congratulations, host, on completing the novice task. You have earned the skill reward. 100% empty-handed blade reception." The system prompt resounded in Lin Xiaozha's mind at the opportune moment. Simultaneously, an extraordinary power surged within him. In an instant, he comprehended the causal divine skill. 100% empty-handed blade reception. Hee. Let's see who dares to brandish a sword before me now. A jubilant smile spread across his face as he joyfully bounced on the spot. Meanwhile, the secret of Li Jing's hidden savings detonated in the hearts of the onlookers like a deep-water bomb. Wow! The surrounding villagers, soldiers, and even the great Master Tai regarded Li Jing with peculiar gazes. They whispered among themselves, occasionally pointing fingers at him. Li Jing's face flushed crimson, his head bowed, so low it nearly touched the ground. At that moment, he wished nothing more than to find a crevice in the earth to burrow into. "Li Jing, what do you have to say for yourself?" Madame Yin stood with her hands on her hips, tugging at Li Jing's ear, exuding an air of relentless determination. "Alas, madam, please be gentle. There's so many people watching." Li Jing wore a sorrowful expression, on the verge of tears. It appeared that he had no time to attend to Lin Xiaozha for the moment, yet the danger had not abated. Great Master Tai gazed at him with a grave demeanor, his eyes flickering with complex emotions. This child was the reincarnation of a demonic essence, inherently malevolent. He cannot be allowed to wreak havoc upon the world. Great Master Tai furrowed his brow, the wand in his hand trembling slightly, his gaze revealing a resolute intent. "Don't." Just as he prepared to take action, Madame Yin suddenly stepped in front of Lin Xiaozha, spreading her arms to shield him. "Master, do not harm my child. He is innocent." This. Great Master Tai hesitated, his brow knitting into a tight knot. He glanced at Madame Yin, then at Lin Xiaozha, who was bound by the Qingquan circle, a flicker of uncertainty stirring within him. "What should I do? What on earth should I do?" Chapter 2. My fate is mine to control. "Master, he is but a child. I beseech you to grant him a chance." Madame Yin stood resolutely before Lin Xiaozha, her voice strained, resembling a lioness fiercely defending her cub. This. The Taoist Master Tai felt his resolve wavering, his whisk falling limply from his grasp, his gaze oscillating between Lin Xiaozha and Madame Yin. After a prolonged silence, he sighed heavily, alas. Very well, very well. Ultimately, I too bear responsibility for this matter." Upon hearing this, Lin Xiaozha could not help but breathe a sigh of relief. Though, according to the narrative, Master Tai would not take his life, this was no mere cinematic spectacle. This was an authentic transmigration. Who could ascertain whether Master Tai would indeed show mercy? If, nevertheless, given the present circumstances, he had momentarily evaded the peril of death. Yet, the calamity curse upon him remained a lurking threat without devising a strategy soon. He could expect to live no longer than 3 additional years. After all, this was the fate of the demonic orb. I must cultivate diligently. With a glint in his eye, he pointed at Master Tai, declaring, "O rotund one, accept me as your disciple, and I shall ensure your ascendance to the rank of the 12 golden immortals." His voice, though youthful, resonated with clarity and precision. "You." Master Tai was taken aback, leaping to his feet, the whisk slipping from his fingers and clattering to the ground. "How do you know of the 12 golden immortals?" Mr. Li and his wife were equally astonished, rendered speechless, their mouths agape. As for the other onlookers, they appeared utterly bewildered, pointing at Lin Xiaozha and engaging in fervent whispers. How can a newborn speak? See, I told you he was a little demon. He can run and jump right after birth, and now he can even speak. If he isn't a demon, then what could he possibly be? Indeed, you are correct. The villagers murmured among themselves, their hushed tones unmistakably reaching Lin Xiaozha's ears. At that moment, he truly resonated with the words of Shun Gongbao. The prejudices within a person's heart are akin to a towering mountain. No matter how hard one strives, it remains unmoved. However, he was not the original Nezha and would not be provoked by such trivialities. What? Did I speak amiss? Lin Xiaozha regarded Master Tai's astonished expression, inwardly amused while feigning an innocent demeanor. Yet, given his appearance, it was hardly fitting to portray himself as innocent. Master Tai, having lived for millennia, soon regained his composure. You child, do not spout nonsense. Do you think I will accept you today? With that, he seized the sword that Mr. Li had dropped, swinging it menacingly toward Lin Xiaozha. The blade shimmered with a chilling light, exuding an aura of frost. Mr. Li and Madame Yin were paralyzed with fear, crying out in unison, Master, do not. Yet before their astonished exclamations could fade, an astonishing spectacle unfolded. With a mere lift of his delicate hand, Lin Xiaozha effortlessly caught the sharp sword. Clang! The crisp sound of metal striking resonated throughout the vicinity. The blade of the sword was firmly anchored in the palm of Lin Xiaozha, unable to advance a single inch. His small hand, as smooth and white as jade, allowed the sword's edge to glide across it without leaving even the faintest trace. Tai Jinren's eyes nearly bulged from their sockets. How is this possible? He could scarcely believe his eyes. After all, this was a sword capable of slicing through iron like mud. Even if he deliberately tempered his strength, it was inconceivable that such an effortless defense could be mounted. Yet now, the evidence lay before him. A newborn infant had caught his sword with his bare hands? What in the world? Was the power of the demon pill truly this formidable? Unwilling to accept this reality, he struck the sword down repeatedly, each blow faster and more forceful than the last. But the outcome remained unchanged. Lin Xiaozha's small hand was like a magnet. No matter how much force he exerted, nor from what angle he attacked, Lin Xiaozha's hand clung to the sword as if it were a suction cup, steadfast and unyielding. Regardless of his efforts, he could not dislodge it even a fraction. Is it really this powerful? Tai Jinren was utterly dumbfounded. Beside him, Li Jing and Madame Yin were equally astonished, their hearts brimming with shock. Lin Xiaozha smiled faintly, loosening his grip, causing the sword to clatter to the ground. Do you wish to continue? He inquired in a soft, childish voice, tinged with a hint of provocation. Tai Jinren suppressed his astonishment, wishing to further test Lin Xiaozha's potential. He traced a complex formation upon ground. Child, if you can endure within this formation for the duration of a single incense stick, I shall take you as my disciple. That is your promise. Lin Xiaozha stepped into the magical array without hesitation. As he entered the center of the formation, a powerful suppressive force met him head-on, its weight like a mountain, causing him to struggle for breath. He stumbled several steps, nearly collapsing to the ground. Alas, he is still but a mere child. Tai Jinren shook his head with a sigh, preparing to dispel the array. At that moment, Lin Xiaozha suddenly roared, My fate is mine to command, not dictated by heaven. A mere formation cannot ensnare me. As the words left his mouth, his eyes turned a fierce crimson, and a tremendous power erupted from within him. In that instant, his speed and strength surged dramatically, and his once unsteady little body became as firm as a mountain. He began to resist the oppressive force of the array. No one could have anticipated the astonishing power that lay concealed within his tiny frame. Witnessing this, Tai Jinren felt an even greater shock within him. Could this truly be the power of the demon pill? Lin Xiaozha gritted his teeth, beads of sweat cascading from his forehead, glimmering like shattered diamonds under the radiant light of the formation. The oppressive force of the formation felt akin to invisible giant hands, constricting his very organs and rendering each breath a laborious task. Yet, within his heart, a fierce determination ignited. He could not afford to falter. At that moment, a notification from the system resonated in Lin Xiaozha's mind, like a celestial melody. Ding! You have not signed in today. Would you like to proceed with the sign-in? Sign in, he fervently thought without hesitation. Congratulations, host. Sign-in successful. Sign and location. Li Manor at Chentang Pass reward. Crimson Flame Demon Eye. As the system's prompt faded, Lin Xiaozha felt a searing heat in his eyes, as if two flames were igniting within. Instinctively, he shut his eyes. When he opened them again, the surroundings transformed into an entirely different realm. The originally dazzling golden formation now appeared to him as a complex web of lines, reminiscent of a circuit diagram, clearly illustrating the flow of energy. Among these lines, one section dimmed, resembling a broken circuit. This was the formation's weakness. His heart surged with elation. He had not anticipated such a tangible reward from the sign-in. With the weakness identified, he resolved not to endure the oppression for a moment longer. He began to move cautiously in the direction of the energy flow. Noticing Lin Xiaozha's actions, Tai Junren was filled with curiosity and closely observed his movements. He realized that Lin Xiaozha was not moving aimlessly, but rather following a discernible path, as if he could perceive the energy flow within the formation. Could this child possibly be? An incredible thought flickered through his mind. In that instant, Lin Xiaozha's speed escalated, his figure within the formation becoming a flurry of afterimages that dazzled the eye. He continually approached the formation's weakness, feeling the power within him surge. When his speed reached its zenith, he abruptly halted, inhaled deeply, summoned all his strength, and unleashed a powerful punch. Boom! The golden light of the formation shattered suddenly, dissipating into stardust. Lin Xiaozha exhaled a breath of foul air. At that moment, his eyes blazed crimson, akin to two burning orbs, radiating an intimidating glow. Tai Junren stood in stunned silence, watching this spectacle, his feathered duster falling to the ground with a soft thud. He could scarcely believe that Lin Xiaozha had managed to unravel his formation. How? How is this possible? After prolonged silence, he could only repeat three words: good, good, good. This child truly has a bright future. His tone carried a hint of excitement. To think that this reincarnated demon could possess such talent. Perhaps he truly had the potential to defy destiny. With this thought, he was filled with anticipation. He turned to look at the couple, his tone imbued with admiration. This child possesses remarkable talent. I have decided to take him as my disciple, to guide him onto the righteous path. Thank you, esteemed master. Thank you, esteemed master. The couple was overjoyed at his words and hurriedly bowed in gratitude. The great Master Tai helped them to their feet. No need for excessive courtesy. He is already fated to be with me and possesses such innate ability. Whether he achieves greatness in the future will depend on his own fortune. He then turned to Lin Xiaozha. Child, why do you not hasten to pay your respects to your master? At that moment, Madame Yin chimed in. Jure, the master is a truly enlightened being. If you study under him, you will certainly attain success in the future. Seemingly anxious that Lin Xiaozha might refuse, the great Master Tai continued, Indeed, as long as you are willing to become my disciple, I shall impart all my knowledge to you. Lin Xiaozha slowly approached the great master, his eyes returning to normal, sparkling with clarity. Disciple Nezha pays his respects. Just then, an unusual disturbance suddenly arose from a distance. A foul odor permeated the air, and the ground began to tremble slightly. The great Master Tai furrowed his brow as he calculated with his fingers. An ominous presence approaches. He swiftly scooped up Lin Xiaozha, declaring, I shall take you away from here. Let us depart. The great Master Tai soared into the clouds, transforming into a beam of golden light as he flew off into the distance. Chapter 3. The Mischief of Demons. A disturbance in the ancestral hall. Tai Junren swiftly departed from Chentang Pass, riding on a cloud. Lin Xiaozha stood upon the clouds, his heart filled with uncertainty. Master, why must we leave? Child, the demons we encountered this time are exceedingly fierce. Tai Junren, with a strong Sichuan accent, spoke earnestly. You should obediently stay at Xinyuan Mountain until things settle down. Do not cause trouble. If you lose control, no one will be able to withstand it. Upon hearing this, Lin Xiaozha grew anxious. What? This is a splendid opportunity to gain favor. We are just leaving? He struck his fist against Tai's abdomen, causing the demon binding rope at his waist to jingle. I am not a mere child. Why should I flee? Through the gaps in the clouds, he glimpsed his father's sword being held at bay by 3 skeletal soldiers, igniting a sense of urgency within him. Tai Junren brushed his brow with his feather duster, and the golden light of the Qian Kuan circle surged. If you were to lose control, the entire Chentang Pass would be your burial ground. Better to accompany the dead than to be a coward. Lin Xiaozha suddenly grasped the golden ring encircling his neck, and the blazing true fire singed Tai's sleeve. "Let me down. My father is fighting valiantly against the demons, and you want me to stand idly by? Do I not deserve to be his son?" Tai Jinren was momentarily taken aback by Lin Xiaozha's words. Heavens! Is he a spiritual pearl or a demon egg? Such filial piety. After a moment's contemplation, he ultimately resolved to return Lin Xiaozha to Chentang Pass. On the way back, he entrusted the Hunyuan silk to Lin Xiaozha, explaining its usage. "You brat," he scolded in half Sichuan dialect, thrusting his feather duster into the clouds. "This Hunyuan silk can attack or defend. Use the energy within you to control it. Remember, you only have the time of half a stick of incense. Once the time is up, regardless of the battle's state, you must return to me." As he spoke, concern flickered in his eyes. Lin Xiaozha, looking at the Hunyuan silk in his hands, grinned. "Do not worry. I shall resolve the battle well before the incense burns out. Who do you think you are?" Tai Jinren struck Lin Xiaozha on the head, sending him tumbling from the clouds. Yet, immediately after, he regretted his action. Oh no. He is still just a child. Won't he fall to his death, will he? Peering down, he found Lin Xiaozha standing firmly on the city wall, and he sighed in relief. Thank goodness. Above Chentang Pass, dark clouds loomed, and the atmosphere was thick with tension. Below, the battlefield roared with shouts of slaughter. The clashing sounds of swords and blades rang incessantly. The skeletal soldiers surged forth like a tide, their grotesque visages emanating a nauseating stench. Li Jing, clad in battle armor and wielding a long sword, charged into the fray like a divine being, leading the defenders of Chentang Pass in their fierce battle against the demons. As the battlefield echoed with the cries of fallen demon soldiers, Lin Xiaozha stood atop the city wall, witnessing the fierce clash between soldiers and monsters. His blood surging with fervor, the scent of blood ignited a surge of demonic runes across his body. Only when the Qianquan circle emitted a piercing shriek did he manage to suppress the crimson haze in his gaze. He beheld his father cleave a skeletal giant with a single stroke, yet the blade became ensnared within the creature's spine. Father! The Hunyuan silk unfurled like a red dragon emerging from its lair, obliterating a skeletal warrior poised to ambush Li Jing. As Li Jing turned, he saw his son racing through the scorched earth, enveloped in a whirlwind of yellow dust, the aftermath of the Hunyuan silk leaving behind a distorted trace in the air. Return at once. Li Jing's roar mingled with the sound of cracking bones as he pierced a two-headed corpse demon, though his left shoulder armor was corroded, leaving a gaping hole. Lin Xiaozha felt his heart racing, nearly leaping from his throat. The essence of the demonic core coalesced in his dantian into a searing fireball, while the Hunyuan silk uncontrollably shattered 5 skeletons, inadvertently toppling 2 soldiers who were caught off guard against a withered tree stump. Yet, he paid no heed, for he spied a skeletal minion brandishing a bone dagger, aiming to strike a nearby soldier. With a flick of his wrist, the Hunyuan silk darted forth like a spectral serpent, ensnaring the skeletal minion in an instant. With a resounding crash, the minion was reduced to fragments, bones scattering. However, due to the overwhelming force, the Hunyuan silk inadvertently harmed several soldiers, their cries echoing as they collapsed, their fates uncertain. Lin Xiaozha was taken aback by his own strength. He had yet to begin his training and did not comprehend the nuances of control. In haste, he retracted the Hunyuan silk, intent on utilizing his innate demonic fire to vanquish the beasts. This marked his inaugural foray into harnessing the power of the demonic core. He raised his hand, a brilliant flame flaring forth, though its descent veered slightly off course from his intention. The fire surged skyward, dense smoke billowing. Instantly, the Li family ancestral hall within the city was engulfed by the inferno. Lin Xiaozha stared blankly at his palm, still emitting wisps of smoke. A chill creeping up his spine. This is a calamity. Boom. The thunderous crack of the ancestral hall's beams startled the entire battlefield. All combatants froze, eyes wide in disbelief as they turned to witness the burning hall. Li Jing's sword clattered to the ground, his face ashen, lips trembling. Yet no words escaped his mouth. Within the city, Lady Yin gasped, quickly covering her mouth, her eyes filled with incredulity as if unable to fathom the unfolding disaster. What is happening? A soldier murmured beside her. Another soldier, pale with terror, rushed over, exclaiming, the ancestral hall is on fire. Lady Yin snapped back to reality, her eyes ablaze with fury as she shouted at the soldier. Then why are you not hastening to extinguish the flames? Oh, hurry, everyone, come and help extinguish the fire. The villagers, awakened from their stupor, hurriedly grabbed buckets of water and rushed towards the burning ancestral hall. Outside the city, on the battlefield, Li Jing watched helplessly as the ancestral shrine was consumed by flames, his heart filled with anxiety. He turned to look towards the center of the battlefield, where Lin Xiaozha was retreating in the opposite direction, cowering. This ungrateful child. He silently cursed, but felt powerless. After all, he was merely a newborn. It was already commendable that he could come to assist. What more could be expected? Tai Zhenren swept away the burning tiles from the eaves with his whisk. His voice tinged with a burnt aroma. It seems that the merits will surely turn negative now. Sighing, he was about to lend a hand in extinguishing the flames when suddenly, a figure appeared in the clouds. Upon seeing the newcomer, Tai Zhenren furrowed his brow. The arrival of this celestial envoy was swifter than anticipated. He realized that the news of the magic orb reincarnating as Nezha could not possibly be concealed from his senior brother. He had anticipated that his brother would send someone to inquire, but he did not expect them to arrive so soon. The celestial envoy, clad in a flowing white robe and wielding a whisk, exuded an air of ethereal elegance. He gradually descended before Chentang Pass. A golden light emanating from the heavenly eye on his forehead, illuminating the ground and revealing the lurking demon soldiers. General Li Jing of Chentang Pass received the decree. With the pronouncement, the celestial envoy stepped through the debris, each footfall causing frost flowers to blossom on the ground. Holding a jade tablet, he appeared haughty and self-important. Here lies the accountability document from Yusu Palace. He raised his hand and cast the jade tablet down, his tone icy, barely born for half a day. Nezha has already set fire to the merit shrine. According to heavenly law, he must face the punishment of thunder. Generally, you must provide me with an explanation. Li Jing took the jade tablet and examined it closely, his expression growing grave. Esteemed envoy, he clasped his hands in respect, his tone deferential. My child is unruly and acted in haste. I beg you to show leniency. However, he acted to save Chentang Pass. To be so reckless right after birth. The celestial envoy interrupted with a cold laugh, flicking his fingers to force Li Jing to kneel. What he has burned is not merely the shrine. As he spoke, he seemed to recall something and snorted disdainfully. Enough of this idle talk. Please, General Li, swiftly surrender Nezha. Otherwise, I will find it difficult to return and report. Li Jing's heart sank, realizing that this matter would not end well. Just as he was about to plead further, Tai Zhenren suddenly stepped in front of him, his chubby face dusted with chili powder from the explosion at the stove. Wait a moment, esteemed envoy. Would you care to try this spicy squid tentacle first? It is a special delicacy I prepared. Presumptuous. The celestial envoy waved his sleeve, scattering the snacks, his porcelain-like fingers nearly poking Tai Zhenren's nose. Allowing Nezha to burn the shrine, I have yet to hold you accountable. Who permitted you to casually bestow the misty tapestry? Do you even realize? Enough. Tai Zhenren interrupted. At this moment, a flicker of genuine anger ignited within him. However, considering that the other party was representing his senior brother, he repressed his ire and declared, I, under the command of my revered master, the primordial supreme being, have come to accept Nezha as my disciple. I kindly request that you exercise restraint out of respect for me. He continued, I assure you that I will diligently instruct him, guiding him towards reform. The celestial envoy cast a disdainful glance at Tai Zhenren and scoffed. You believe you can teach him not to cause trouble? I highly doubt it. Bear in mind, he is a demon of the highest order. Suddenly, Lin Xiaozha erupted in fury, demonic patterns creeping up his neck and onto his cheeks. As the Mengtian Ling enveloped in three mysterious true fires surged towards the celestial envoy. In response, the envoy waved his wide sleeves and unleashed 12 cold jade nails that soared through the air. The nails emitted a ghostly luminescence, freezing the flames into shards of ice in their wake. As Lin Xiaozha attempted to evade, he discovered that the blue bricks beneath him had inexplicably encased his feet in profound ice, rendering him immobile. Release me, he shouted. Tai Zhenren bellowed, his figure flashing as he appeared before the celestial envoy. With a flick of his wand, he conjured a massive golden dragon that lunged towards the envoy with ferocity. The envoy raised his hand to summon 12 soul-binding chains that slithered towards Tai Zhenren like ethereal serpents. Swiftly, Tai Zhenren dodged the attack, drawing forth a gourd of wine from his waist. He uncorked it and poured the celestial nectar onto the chains. The divine liquid transformed in midair into a vibrant cloud, within which a heavenly deity wielding a blade materialized. The deity bellowed and swung its great sword towards the soul-binding chains, sending sparks flying as the chains shattered into fragments. The celestial envoy staggered back a few paces, a flicker of apprehension crossing his eyes, yet he quickly regained his composure. Without granting the envoy a moment's respite, Tai Zhenren propelled himself into the air, performing a somersault, and hurled the wine gourd once more. The gourd spun through the air, transforming into an enormous gourd that overshadowed the sky. Tai Zhenren chanted an incantation, and the gourd descended fiercely upon the celestial envoy. Damn it! The envoy had no time to evade, and the gourd struck him squarely. Instantly, he was dazzled, seeing stars and teetering on the brink of collapse. At that moment, Li Jing raised his sword, positioning himself protectively in front of Lin Xiaozha. If you wish to take the child's life, you must first step over my corpse. Very well. The celestial envoy glared fiercely at Tai Zhenren before addressing Li Jing. How about this? You sign this child-rearing loan agreement, and we shall consider the matter settled. Otherwise, I shall return to report to the celestial elder and summon troops to capture Nezha, sealing the East Sea's eye. At these words, Li Jing's expression changed drastically. Seal the Sea's eye? That is a path to certain doom. He accepted the gilded scroll floating in midair, glancing back at Lin Xiaozha. All right, I shall sign. He unfurled the scroll and, with a swift motion of his sword, drew blood from his finger. As the bloodied fingertips grazed the edge of the scroll, it suddenly illuminated with an ethereal glow, automatically unfurling the 37th page of additional clauses. Amidst the densely packed celestial script, several lines of blood-red text emerged. 1. I voluntarily pledge 30 years of my lifespan. 2. Each month, I shall deliver 3 demon beasts of 100 years cultivation until all debts are repaid. 3. In the event of default, my lifespan shall revert to the infinite immortal. Suddenly, Tai Zhenren grasped Li Jing's wrist. His voice a low murmur from Sichuan. You must not sign. His words hung unfinished, abruptly cut off by the cold gaze of the celestial envoy. Without a moment's hesitation, Li Jing's bloodied finger pressed heavily upon the clause. At that moment, to preserve his son's life, he had no alternative. After dispatching the celestial envoy, Tai Zhenren approached Li Jing with a complex expression, his tone shifting. General Li, how could you have signed? He continued, do you not understand? Li Jing turned. Enveloping Lin Xiaozha in his embrace, the unmelting ice crystals from his armor cascading down. I feared not even King Zhou in the past. Why should I fear this trifling child-rearing loan? He chuckled, tousling Lin Xiaozha's hair. At worst, I shall simply capture more demons each month to repay the debt. As long as my dear child can grow up safely, I am willing to endure anything. However, Tai Zhenren hesitated, ultimately only shaking his head with a sigh. He then turned to Lin Xiaozha, his face rarely stern, declaring, from tomorrow onwards, you will diligently study the calm heart incantation with me. Do you understand? Got it. Lin Xiaozha wriggled free from Li Jing's embrace, gazing towards the direction the celestial envoy had vanished. Infinite immortal, this debt shall be settled with you in due time. In the middle of the night, Lin Xiaozha wept silently within the confines of his home. Just moments ago, he had activated his beginner's gift pack, successfully acquiring the 36 techniques of Tiangang. The good news was that he had thoroughly mastered it. The bad news was that he currently possessed no spiritual power, rendering him helplessly staring. It seemed he must begin his cultivation post-haste. With this thought, he promptly succumbed to slumber. Meanwhile, in the west wing, 2 gasps broke the silence. What? Li Jing and his wife gazed at Tai Zhenren in disbelief. The implication was clear. Indeed, Tai Zhenren nodded solemnly. Nezha can only survive for 3 years at most. When my master refined the primordial pearl, he placed a tribulation curse upon the magic orb. After 3 years, Nezha will surely perish beneath the tribulation. Upon hearing this, Lady Yin's legs buckled, nearly causing her to collapse. Li Jing supported her, soothingly assuring, it's all right, my lady. I shall beseech the heavenly Lord to lift the tribulation curse. Suddenly, Tai Zhenren sprang up, his voice rising an octave. We merely need to disclose the truth. I believe my master will show mercy. Rest assured, the education of the child is my responsibility. Special training will commence tomorrow. After uttering these words, however, a trace of anxiety crept across the face of the esteemed Tai Zhenren. At last, peace has been achieved. The childcare loan agreement still has 3 years remaining for repayment. Yet, at the beginning of each month, I must submit a demon pill observation report to the Yushu Palace. Chapter 5. I rarely smile, unless I cannot help it. As the clock struck 3/4 past the hour of the tiger, the dawn began to break. The thick fog, as dense as cream, still clung to the towers of Chentang Pass. Within the General's residence of Chentang Pass, chaos reigned. Lin Xiaozha, his palms aflame with urgency, hurried towards the lavatory. A biting wind howled, causing the ribbon of his belt to flutter like a lively serpent, entwining itself around a peach tree branch. Fallen petals cascaded down like pink snow, landing atop a passing little wild cat. Meow! The wild cat darted up the wall, vanishing from sight. Suddenly, a thunderous crash echoed through the air. The wooden door of the back lavatory splintered into pieces, fragments scattering and shattering the morning tranquility. Amidst the swirling dust, Lin Xiaozha rubbed his hands together, squatting over the intricately carved lavatory, and thought, what delightful treasure awaits today. Sign in. He smacked his thigh with enthusiasm. Congratulations, host. Sign in successful. Today's sign-in location, lavatory in the Li residence's backyard. Reward. Universal Social Death Rebound Bellyband. Universal Social Death Rebound Bellyband. When someone mocks Nezha's attire, their clothing automatically transforms into the same style bellyband. Hidden attribute. The pattern on the bellyband changes according to the enemy's fear level. System special reminder. It is recommended to pair with the wind and fire wheels, transforming into the most flamboyant red boy of the three realms. Wow, this is simply marvelous. Lin Xiaozha's eyes sparkled with excitement as he eagerly removed his old bellyband and donned the freshly minted Social Death Rebound Bellyband. He gazed into the water of the lavatory, nodding in satisfaction, chuckling. Indeed, it looks splendid. Wiggling his little backside, Lin Xiaozha hummed the tune of I Am a Little Monster as he exited the lavatory. At that moment, a dull thud resonated from outside the gate. The sound of a heavy iron sword striking the ground. Li Jing strode past the threshold, gripping a half-broken sword, closely followed by Tai Zhenren, who stumbled along, stepping on a wine gourd. Is that gourd filled with fake wine? Tai Zhenren grumbled in discontent. You charged in recklessly, almost knocking the pillars of Yushu Palace askew. Li Jing, a nearby guard, whispered to another. Who is this hefty fellow? He speaks with such bravado. Shoo, keep your voice down. He is Tai Zhenren, a disciple of the primordial Supreme One. We cannot afford to provoke him. Upon entering the backyard, Li Jing glanced at the dilapidated lavatory door, unable to suppress a frown. Jar, are you at it again, destroying the house? His commanding voice reverberated throughout the entire courtyard. Startled by the authoritative tone, Lin Xiaozha looked up, just in time to meet the gaze of Li Jing. Li Jing donned a golden armor, his countenance as stern as a tranquil lake, exuding an air of authority without the need for anger. Beside him, the Taoist master Tai wore an expression of peculiar amusement, scrutinizing Nezha with an appraising gaze. Suddenly, his nose, reminiscent of a wine-soaked visage, flushed a vivid crimson, and he erupted into laughter. Oh my goodness! Wearing a red bellyband, you resemble the kitchen god frolicking about. Tai roared with mirth, nearly doubling over in amusement. After a prolonged interval, he stifled his laughter and pointed at Lin Xiaozha's bellyband, exclaiming, This bellyband is truly extraordinary. Lin Xiaozha puffed out his small chest proudly, anticipating the spectacle ahead. In the next instant, a resounding whoosh echoed as smoke erupted from the void. Tai's robe instantaneously transformed into a fire-red bellyband identical to that worn by Lin Xiaozha. What? Tai gasped in astonishment, staring incredulously at his own bellyband. The prominent muscles of his abdomen glistened in the morning light. Clang! The sword in Li Jing's hand clattered to the ground, its sheath striking his foot, yet he seemed oblivious to the pain. At that moment, this commander, renowned for his ironclad demeanor, turned away with a twitching mouth, his shoulders shaking uncontrollably, causing the armor scales to clatter incessantly. After a considerable pause, Li Jing managed to suppress his laughter, adopting a serious expression as he admonished Lin Xiaozha, Jar, you must diligently study under your master and refrain from mischief. With that, he fled the courtyard in haste. Once outside, he could no longer contain himself, and his laughter resonated throughout the Li residence, startling the sparrows into chaotic flight. Within the courtyard, Tai was both embarrassed and furious. He tugged at the bellyband desperately, but it clung stubbornly to him, causing beads of sweat to form on his brow. Subsequently, he attempted to incant a fire spell to incinerate the bellyband. Yet it proved futile. Lin Xiaozha, perched on the wall while savoring a candied hawthorn, suggested, Master, why not silently recite, I shall not dare to laugh at Nezha 100 times and see what happens? Tai, infuriated, trembled as he closed his eyes to chant. As he did so, the golden lotus on his bellyband transformed into a teary flying pig's head, comically endearing yet absurdly ludicrous. When he finally uttered, I shall not dare to laugh at Nezha again, the bellyband indeed reverted back to his robe. Such magic! Tai was momentarily taken aback before casting a glare at Nezha, muttering, this little imp is becoming increasingly mischievous. He then grasped Lin Xiaozha's arm and led him to an open space in the backyard. At the moment the map of mountains and rivers unfurled, myriad ink strokes blended from the heavens. Tai swept his dust brush across the stone steps, declaring, now, observe closely. This is the map of mountains and rivers. From this day forth, you shall reside here to cultivate your skills. You may only emerge once you have achieved a breakthrough in your training. Having spoken, he grasped Lin Xiaozha and plunged into the picture. The scene transformed. Upon opening his eyes once more, Lin Xiaozha found himself enveloped in a mist-laden valley filled with ethereal beauty. Exotic flowers and rare plants flourished, while magnificent birds and strange beasts roamed freely. Celestial cranes danced amidst the enchanting mountains, an overwhelming sight to behold. The plump immortal summoned amber-hued spiritual light at his fingertips and gracefully wielded a brush in the void, crafting a celestial chart of the 36 constellations. The principle of refining essence into energy emphasized the harmony of water and fire, akin to pairing a hot pot with fragrant dipping sauce. Before he could finish speaking, Lin Xiaozha had already dashed into the waterfall. The splashes created by the swirling water coalesced mid-air into the words "Please get to the point" in wild cursive. Tai Jinren then earnestly imparted the foundational methods of cultivation to Lin Xiaozha. Once he was assured that Lin Xiaozha fully comprehended the teachings, Tai Jinren sought out a flat stone. He knocked his wine gourd against the azure rock, conjuring a rattan lounge chair. He reclined comfortably, stretched lazily, and soon drifted into slumber. Time passed unnoticed. Upon awakening and rubbing his drowsy eyes, Tai Jinren discovered Lin Xiaozha's absence. "Where has that child run off to?" he murmured, preparing to rise and search. At that moment, a beautiful woman in a simple yet elegant long dress floated gracefully toward him. It was Madame Yin. "Master, where is Xiaozha? Why is he missing?" Upon hearing this, Tai Jinren was instantly alarmed, stammering for a moment, I do not know. He was just here." He glanced around. Yet Lin Xiaozha remained nowhere in sight. That little rascal. He wouldn't have sneaked away, would he? "Master, look over there." Madame Yin pointed toward a nearby pond, exclaiming, "Xiaozha, what has happened to you?" Tai Jinren's heart jolted as he followed her gaze. In the center of the pond, a small figure floated motionless on the water's surface. Without a moment's hesitation, he leaped into the pond, retrieving what he thought was Lin Xiaozha. "Child, wake up!" Tai Jinren exclaimed, tearing away the damp garment that obscured the figure, revealing a still wet drawing of a turtle that was bubbling. He laid Lin Xiaozha flat on the ground and began preparing for mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. However, upon touching Lin Xiaozha's skin, he was met with a sticky sensation. Upon closer inspection, he jumped back in shock, realizing he had not saved the true Lin Xiaozha, but rather a swollen, gray-green poisonous toad. Ribbit. The toad opened its wide mouth, unleashing a cloud of green toxic mist that engulfed Tai Jinren. He felt the world spin around him, his body growing weak as he collapsed to the ground. Meanwhile, Madame Yin transformed with a resounding thud into Lin Xiaozha, who approached the now convulsing Tai Jinren. "Hee, I have long mastered the art of transformation." "You've been deceived, master." As his words fell, he rummaged through the ample pocket of Tai Jinren's Taoist robe, only to find nothing. Suddenly recalling a scene from an animation, his gaze darted towards Tai Jinren's groin. "Could it be that you truly concealed your treasures there?" Chapter 6, Flames Surge. Revealing the truth, Tai Jinren, afflicted by toad venom, lay sprawled on the ground, his complexion ashen and lips tinged with purple, utterly immobile. He struggled to speak, his voice trembling and feeble, urging, "The antidote. It's right here beneath my, Dear boy, do hurry. If you delay any longer, I shall meet my end." Lin Xiaozha frowned, visibly reluctant as he stepped closer to Tai Jinren. "Master, must you be so repulsive? Who would want to touch your foul trousers?" He pinched his nose, as if already sensing an unbearable odor. Upon hearing this, Tai Jinren nearly spat out a mouthful of blood. Enduring the excruciating pain, he explained, "Do not underestimate my bag of wonders. It is filled with treasures. The antidote is within. Quickly, help me retrieve it." Despite his complaints, Lin Xiaozha recognized the urgency of the situation. Taking a deep breath, he held his breath, closed his eyes, and tentatively extended his hand towards Tai Jinren's groin. "My heavens, what on earth is inside here?" he exclaimed in astonishment as he explored. His fingers encountered an array of peculiar and bizarre objects, rigid, soft, sticky, a sensation akin to unboxing a surprise. "Master, couldn't you have organized this a bit better?" Lin Xiaozha grumbled, extracting a long spear. The fire-tip spear, also known as the purple flame serpent spear, measured over 18 feet in length. Its head resembled a flame, capable of spewing fire and transforming at will. At that moment, a familiar voice suddenly echoed, "Jar, what on earth are you doing?" Startled, Lin Xiaozha froze. Raising his head to see Madame Yin standing at the end of the cloud bridge, her expression one of shock. She held a food box, evidently having come to visit. At this moment, Lin Xiaozha was brandishing the fire-tip spear, its tip aimed directly at Tai Jinren's groin. Madame Yin could not help but jump to conclusions. Her face paled, fearing that Lin Xiaozha had succumbed to madness and intended harm against Tai Jinren. Jar, stop at once. Her voice, tinged with urgency, compelled her to drop the food box and rush forward to thwart Lin Xiaozha's supposed aggression. Startled by Madame Yin's thunderous command, Lin Xiaozha's wrist trembled, causing the spear in his hand to quiver. With a click, the tension escalated. The yin-yang fisheye switch on the firepoint spear was accidentally triggered, unleashing the blazing 3 mystical flames enveloped in azure smoke. Alas, my tale is not for the faint of heart, Tai Jinren shrieked as he leapt from his spot, engulfed entirely by flames. Lin Xiaozha stood frozen, his gaze fixed upon Tai Jinren, who writhed in agony upon the ground. Why do historical narratives so astonishingly mirror each other? At that moment, a commanding voice resonated. Madam, what transpired? Amidst the chaos, a silvery light flickered. Li Jing, brandishing his sword, cleaved through the 3 mystical flames and strode forward. Upon witnessing Tai Jinren ablaze and the panic-stricken Lady Yin, he too was momentarily taken aback. I truly did not mean to. Lin Xiaozha stammered in a desperate attempt to explain. He never anticipated he would cause such calamity. At that moment, a singular thought raced through his mind. Flee. He hastily tucked the firepoint spear into his waistband, turned on his heel, and dashed away. In the blink of an eye, he vanished into the depths of the map of mountains and rivers. Li Jing was poised to pursue when he heard Tai Jinren's muffled voice amidst the inferno. Do not chase. Just help me extinguish the flames. Li Jing halted, his cloak billowing, summoning clouds to envelop Tai Jinren, cocooning him like a silkworm. As the flames subsided, Lady Yin rushed forward to assess Tai Jinren's condition. Jinren, are you all right? At that moment, Tai Jinren appeared charred, his hair nearly scorched away, a sight of utter disarray. Li Jing's countenance darkened, demanding, Madam, what on earth transpired? Lady Yin promptly recounted the events. Upon hearing her account, Li Jing's fury erupted. This ungrateful wretch. His audacity knows no bounds. He yearned to seize Lin Xiaozha and deliver a sound thrashing. General, please temper your wrath, Tai Jinren interjected, recovering his breath. This matter has nothing to do with Nezha. He acted to rescue me. Rescue you? Li Jing's expression was one of indignation. Jinren, do not defend him. He nearly incinerated you. Tai Jinren shook his head with a wry smile. I was afflicted by a potent poison, rendered immobile. Nezha was merely seeking an antidote for me. It was Lady Yin's fright that inadvertently activated the mechanism on the firepoint spear, resulting in this incident. Upon hearing this, Li Jing's demeanor softened. Nezha possesses extraordinary talent. Tai Jinren praised him without reservation. I intended to guide him gradually in this map of mountains and rivers, but to my astonishment, he attained the initial stage of refining essence into qi in just 1 day, crossing the threshold of cultivation. What? He achieved refining essence into qi in merely a day? Both Li Jing and Lady Yin exchanged incredulous glances, their expressions filled with astonishment, for they too were practitioners of the art. It is well known that the path of cultivation is fraught with immense challenges, and many spend their entire lives without even stepping into its threshold. Yet, astonishingly, my son accomplished this feat in merely 1 day. Such a terrifying talent is simply beyond comprehension. Is it truly real? Mrs. Yin expressed her disbelief. Master Tai nodded affirmatively, stating, why would this humble monk deceive you? Nezha's aptitude for cultivation is truly 1 in a million. Li Jing and Mrs. Yin exchanged glances, each seeing surprise and excitement reflected in the other's eyes. Lin Xiaozha, transformed from a demonic essence and burdened with the heavenly tribulation curse, possesses a mere 3 years of life left. If he genuinely has a talent for cultivation, it would undoubtedly be a boon for him. It seems I have indeed misjudged him. With a sigh, Li Jing's tone softened. Observing this, Master Tai felt a sense of relief and seized the opportunity to add, though Nezha may be a bit mischievous, his heart is fundamentally good. With proper guidance, he is destined to achieve greatness. Li Jing nodded, gazing in the direction where Nezha had fled, hoping for the best. Meanwhile, Lin Xiaozha was aimlessly fleeing with the fire spear in the map of mountains and rivers. He ran a considerable distance before ensuring that no one was pursuing him before daring to slow his pace. Surely, there is no danger now? He glanced around, straining his ears to catch any sounds, his heart racing with anxiety. He had not intended to harm Master Tai. Who could have known that the wretched spear would be so fragile? Just a mere touch, and it erupted into flames. As time passed, the surroundings remained eerily silent, devoid of even a ghostly shadow. After waiting for what felt like an eternity, Lin Xiaozha, noticing that no one was chasing him, felt an insatiable curiosity brewing within him. He could not help but wonder how his parents would react to such a calamity. Moreover, what of his master? Was he alive or dead? No. I must return to check. He slapped his forehead, realizing he could not remain in ignorance. As a reincarnation of a demonic essence, he feared neither heaven nor earth. Even if he had caused a ruckus, he needed to ascertain the situation. Resolutely, Lin Xiaozha crouched low and stealthily made his way back. The clouds churned above. Peering through the rift torn by the fire spear, he spotted 3 figures standing together, chatting and laughing, the atmosphere seemingly harmonious. Were they not angry? Or were they intentionally laying a trap to lure him out? Cough. Since you are not coming to find me, I shall emerge myself. Lin Xiaozha cleared his throat, flipped over, and landed, instantly capturing the attention of Li Jing and the others. They turned their heads simultaneously, each adorned with a smile. Jar, you have returned? Mrs. Yin spoke first, her tone tinged with delight. Indeed, I am back. Lin Xiaozha held his head high, exuding a proud demeanor, ready to face any reprimand or scolding that might come his way. After 30 years, I am still a valiant hero. What nonsense are you speaking? Li Jing furrowed his brows. Father, spare the pretense. You must have some hidden weapons behind you. He raised his fire-tipped spear. Come on, show me your treasures. Li Jing, Mrs. Yin, and Master Tai exchanged glances, each harboring a flicker of concern. After a prolonged wait, Lin Xiaozha found himself devoid of the anticipated parental reprimand. Do you truly not blame me? He inquired, his curiosity piqued. The 3 shared a knowing look before bursting into hearty laughter. Mrs. Yin stepped forward, playfully tapping his head. Jar, what are you thinking? You did that to save your master. Your father and I are simply overjoyed. How could we possibly blame you? I heard you broke through to the refining essence and transforming Qi realm in just a day. Li Jing approached, his eyes brimming with admiration. Hee. Lin Xiaozha grinned widely. Impressive, right? I am indeed my father's son. Li Jing nodded, then spoke earnestly. Jar, cultivation is commendable. However, you must remember not to become arrogant or engage in wrongful deeds. Understood, understood. Lin Xiaozha waved his hand impatiently. So does that mean I no longer need to stay in this wretched map? Li Jing hesitated, turning to Mrs. Yin. She sighed. Jar, it would be best for you to remain within the map. As a mother, I wish for you to be close, yet I fear you may cause trouble outside. The consequences could be dire. I can cultivate. Why must I linger in this desolate map? Lin Xiaozha protested, visibly displeased. Rest assured, I will control my temper and not cause any mischief. Jar, Mrs. Yin implored gently. Your father and I only wish for your well-being. I know, Lin Xiaozha interrupted. But you must also consider my feelings. The atmosphere grew tense as Li Jing and Mrs. Yin exchanged troubled expressions, while Lin Xiaozha stood his ground, unwilling to yield. I say, let us all take a breath and calm down, Master Tai interjected, stepping forward to mediate. General, Madam, I propose the following. This child wishes to venture outside. Correct? Master Tai stroked his beard, smiling as he continued. Then let him go, but what? Lin Xiaozha inquired, his brow slightly furrowed. Taiji Jinren smiled mysteriously, declaring, you must undergo my trials. Trials? Li Jing and Lady Yin exchanged puzzled glances. Indeed, Taiji Jinren nodded. If Nezha can pass my trials, it will demonstrate his capability to stand on his own. Then I shall grant him his freedom. What say you? Li Jing and Lady Yin shared a knowing look, both recognizing the merit of this proposal. It would satisfy Lin Xiaozha's wishes while simultaneously assessing his character, a dual advantage. Very well, it is settled then, Li Jing affirmed. If you can successfully navigate the trials, we shall allow you to go. Absolutely. Lin Xiaozha beamed with delight at the prospect of freedom. Master, what are the trials? Please tell me. I could pass them in a heartbeat. Taiji Jinren stroked his singed beard, a knowing smile gracing his lips. Child, do not celebrate too soon. My trials are not so easily conquered. With that, he produced an ancient scroll from his robes, unfurling it slowly. Written in bold, flowing characters were the words, 3 disasters and 9 tribulations, trials for the youth. Lin Xiaozha's heart sank at the sight of the scroll, an ominous sense of foreboding creeping in. What on earth is this? Taiji Jinren smiled enigmatically, gazing at Lin Xiaozha. Child, are you prepared? The trials commence tomorrow. Your fortunate days are about to unfold. The following day, Taiji Jinren stroked his beard thoughtfully, his plump hand wielding a brush as he gestured through the air. Boom. The once picturesque map of mountains and rivers transformed in an instant, the earth fracturing, revealing a molten crimson magma beneath, the acrid scent of sulfur permeating the air. Looking up, the sky had turned a blood-red hue, with fiery embers occasionally falling. Child, this is the lava purgatory I have specially prepared for you, Taiji Jinren announced. Floating in the air atop a celestial pig. Do you see that? The fish swimming in the magma is what you shall roast today. Lin Xiaozha followed his gaze, witnessing the tumultuous magma, waves of scorching heat washing over him. Within, crimson-scaled monstrous fish leaped from the molten depths, their tough scales glistening as they navigated the lava with agility. The requirements for the trial are straightforward, Taiji Jinren declared with a smile, outlining the rules. Utilize your fire control technique to roast a perfect crimson-scaled fish. Remember, it must be perfect. The flesh should be tender and juicy, the skin crispy and fragrant. Any shortcoming will result in the penalty of freezing in ice water. Fire control, roasting fish. Lin Xiaozha regarded the smiling Taiji Jinren with disdain, his youthful face reflecting his skepticism. Such a simple trial could hardly pose a challenge, even to a 3-year-old in kindergarten. Bring it on. Lin Xiaozha flexed his wrist, thinking to himself, isn't it just grilled fish? Quite simple. Watch as I effortlessly grill 10 or 8 in mere moments. With that, he tore away the cloth wrapped around his waist, the dark red satin billowing as it touched the magma, instantly rising in a plume of violet smoke before retracting to strike Lin Xiaozha's head 3 times, seemingly scolding him for not testing the temperature of the magma before recklessly plunging himself into it. Lin Xiaozha soothed the cloth, then formed hand seals to activate the fire avoidance technique. A faint golden light enveloped his entire body, shielding him from the surrounding searing heat. With a leap, he plunged directly into the magma. Oh, not bad, a bit of courage, Tai Jinren observed from the shore, nodding in approval, though a hint of cunning glimmered in his eyes. As soon as Lin Xiaozha entered the magma, he was engulfed by an unbearable heat that enveloped him entirely. Although the fire avoidance technique could block most of the heat, the temperature of the magma was simply too high, as if it aimed to melt him away. To make matters worse, the crimson-scaled fish were far from being docile domesticated creatures. They were agile, swift, and inherently fierce. Upon spotting Lin Xiaozha, they immediately opened their gaping jaws filled with sharp teeth and lunged at him. Goodness, are these not piranhas? 3 yards away, Tai Jinren sat atop the flying celestial pig, munching on sugarcane, his purple robe smeared with sticky syrup. Kid, those crimson-scaled fish are not so easily dealt with. Be quiet. Lin Xiaozha stood on the surface of the magma, but his cloth swept through empty air. 3 crimson-scaled fish swayed their crystalline tails and suddenly changed direction, charging towards him. He took a half-step back, but inadvertently stepped into a swirling undercurrent, plunging headfirst into the boiling magma. Ah, hot, hot, hot. Lin Xiaozha grimaced as the golden light of his fire avoidance technique flickered unsteadily. It dawned on him that this trial was far more challenging than he had anticipated. Is this it? Is this it? Tai Jinren shouted gleefully from the sidelines. Weren't you supposed to grill 10 or 8 in an instant? Why can't you catch even 1 now? Do you want me to come down and assist you? Enough of your nonsense. Lin Xiaozha retorted, his anger ignited. I simply haven't taken it seriously yet. Just wait, I'll catch them in no time. Taking a deep breath, he braced himself against the heat and dove deeper into the magma. You want a piece of me? Tai Jinren gasped, dropping his sugarcane into the magma, only to quickly realize that the demon pill would not fear fire. At that moment, Lin Xiaozha had already descended to the bottom of the magma. The visibility there was incredibly low, with only faint red glimmers moving around him. Relying on the powerful spiritual awareness granted by the demon pill, Lin Xiaozha diligently searched for traces of the crimson-scaled fish. Suddenly, before him, a radiant discovery unfolded, a colossal red-scaled fish. This magnificent creature measured over 2 meters in length, its entire body of vivid crimson, with scales resembling flames in fervent dance. Ah, you are the one, he thought joyfully, propelling himself toward the magnificent fish. At that moment, a voice echoed in his mind. Ding! Detecting that the host is in a special environment. Would you like to check in? Lin Xiaozha's heart stirred. Can I check in within the map of mountains and rivers? Check in, he silently affirmed. Congratulations, host. Check-in successful. Today's check-in location, Lava Purgatory. Reward, Universal Hypnotic Grill. Universal Hypnotic Grill, capable of grilling all earthly items. Accompanied by the complete edition of the Celestial Barbecue Guide. Hidden attribute, during grilling, a hypnotic melody will play, soothing the grilled subject and diminishing their suffering. Hypnotic melody? Lin Xiaozha paused, just as he was about to inquire about the nature of this melody. A cheerful tune began to resonate amidst the lava, digging in the little lava, planting big-scaled fish, blooming tiny flowers. As the enchanting melody played, a peculiar wave emanated from Lin Xiaozha, radiating outward. The once ferocious red-scaled fish, upon encountering this wave, gradually succumbed to a dazed state, as if drifting into slumber. Lin Xiaozha was momentarily stunned, then elated. The universal hypnotic grill possessed such an extraordinary effect. It was practically a cheat device. He swam toward the enormous red-scaled fish, which had completely lost its capacity for resistance. Seizing the fish's fin, he exerted a strong pull, dragging it from the lava. Accomplished. A triumphant smile spread across his face as he swam toward the shore. Tai Zhenren, languidly yawning in boredom, suddenly widened his eyes upon witnessing Lin Xiaozha laboriously surfacing with the massive red-scaled fish. How is this possible? He could hardly believe his eyes. This boy had managed to catch a red-scaled fish so swiftly, and such a grand one at that. Lin Xiaozha tossed the fish onto the ground and clapped his hands. Well, master, I hope I haven't disappointed you. Tai Zhenren gazed at the still sleeping red-scaled fish. Then back at the self-satisfied Lin Xiaozha, his mind swirling with questions. How had this boy achieved such a feat? Had he mastered some extraordinary divine skill? Yet, now was not the time for inquiries. After all, the assessment was far from over. Humph, don't get too proud. Catching the fish is merely the first step. You still need to grill it thoroughly. Tai Zhenren huffed, attempting to salvage some dignity. Lin Xiaozha shrugged nonchalantly, his expression one of indifference. Fear not, I am a master at grilling fish. With that, he dragged the crimson-scaled fish away. Wait, Tai Zhenren suddenly called out to him. What now? Lin Xiaozha turned back, eyeing him warily. You're not having second thoughts, are you? How could that be? Tai Zhenren waved his hand dismissively. I merely wish to remind you that grilling fish is not a trivial task. To achieve the perfect crimson-scaled fish, one must master the heat and continuously sear its spine with precision. Only then can the fish's exquisite flavor be fully released. As he spoke, he could not help but swallow, as if the aroma of the grilled fish was already wafting through the air. TCH, I know, quit the rambling. Lin Xiaozha impatiently waved his hand, then gestured to summon the hypnotic grill of all things. The grill was indeed marvelous, seemingly able to detect the size of the grilling target and automatically enlarging itself to the appropriate dimensions. A product of the system, it was undoubtedly a masterpiece. Lin Xiaozha silently praised the system in his heart. Amidst the bubbling magma, he dug and planted the grand-scaled fish, accompanied by a mesmerizing lullaby. Slowly, he raised his right hand, a flickering flame dancing at his fingertips. In the next moment, the searing flame merged into the grill, enveloping the crimson-scaled fish in a wave of heat, crackling audibly. Lin Xiaozha focused intently on grilling the fish, continuously increasing the intensity of the flames. However, after a considerable time passed, the fish emitted only crackling sounds without any sign of change. Oh, come on. I refuse to believe this. Lin Xiaozha clenched his jaw and pushed the fire output to its maximum. Boom. The crimson-scaled fish exploded on the spot. First attempt at grilling fish, failure. Lin Xiaozha was met with a chilling punishment, frozen solid. This is absurd. He shivered, shaking off the ice that clung to him. The crimson-scaled fish, native to the magma, possessed immunity to flames, so he needed to devise a strategy. Lin Xiaozha muttered to himself. After pondering for a moment, a sudden inspiration struck him. I've got it. He leaped once more into the magma, descending to the bottom. Not far away, a cluster of fire spirit corals stood out vividly. These corals, formed from the essence of magma, contained rich fire spiritual energy and were one of the crimson-scaled fish's favorite delicacies. Previously, Lin Xiaozha had inadvertently scanned the corals with the system and discovered a hidden characteristic. They could soften the fish's hard exterior. Chapter 9. Perfect grilled fish, barely passing. Using a spear as a fishing rod, mixing the celestial ribbon as fishing line, and adding a bit of fire spirit coral bait. Perfect. Lin Xiaozha broke into a wide grin as he thrust the fiery spear into the ground. He unfastened the heavenly silk from his waist and wrapped it around the spear, leaving only a crimson ribbon trailing on the ground. Indeed, he intended to fish. He snapped off a piece of fire spirit coral and tied it to the end of the heavenly silk before casting it with force. The silk landed precisely in the molten lava below. When Nezha fishes, those willing can bite. Lin Xiaozha sat cross-legged on the ground, patiently awaiting a catch. As moments ticked by, the only activity in the lava was the bubbling magma and the occasional spark that leapt forth. Not far off, Tai Zhenren gazed at Lin Xiaozha with a puzzled expression, wondering what this young lad was up to. Why fish with a line when one could simply catch them? What a jest! As if the red-scaled fish could be caught that way. But before he could finish his thought, a sudden commotion erupted in the lava. Countless red-scaled fish emerged from the molten depths, eagerly darting towards the fire spirit coral at the end of the heavenly silk. Wow, so many fish! Lin Xiaozha's eyes sparkled with excitement as he sprang to his feet and waved his hand, summoning the hypnotic roasting rack. He began to dig in the small expanse of lava, planting grand corals and blooming delicate flowers, all accompanied by a captivating, magical lullaby. The red-scaled fish, entranced and dazed, swam mechanically around the spot where the fire spirit coral floated. Aha, it truly works. Lin Xiaozha's heart soared with joy as he yanked the heavenly silk. In an instant, a dozen red-scaled fish were drawn from the lava. Today, I shall feast on a grand fire-roasted fish, he exclaimed, bursting into triumphant laughter. He swept the fiery spear across the ground, skewering several fish together and sprinkling them with fire spirit coral powder. Let the roasting commence. The blazing true fire surged into the grill, the searing heat causing the fish to quiver slightly. Yet, under the spell of the enchanting lullaby, they exhibited no signs of distress, lying still upon the grill as the flames licked at them. Lin Xiaozha focused intently on regulating the temperature and intensity of the flames, striving to create the perfect roast. However, matters proved more complex than he had anticipated. Though the red-scaled fish, now devoid of their hard protective shells, became easy to cook, Lin Xiaozha struggled to maintain control. From time to time, the flames would flare up, charring the fish into a pile of ash. He continuously adjusted the fire's strength, once, twice, thrice, yet each attempt met with failure. The scent of burnt fish wafted through the air, filling him with a sense of frustration. Was my control over fire really so poor? He shook off the layers of ice clinging to him, incredulous as he stared at his palm. Suddenly, a brilliant idea struck him. Yes, I shall use my clones to control the flames. He swiftly executed a spell, conjuring an external avatar to deftly manipulate the fish, while he focused intently on controlling the flames. This astonishing display left the venerable Tai Jinren utterly astounded. Is it truly possible to engage in such a manner? What an enlightening experience. At long last, he achieved success. A perfectly roasted fish, resplendent in golden hues, materialized before Lin Xiaozha. The tantalizing aroma wafted throughout the molten lava inferno. Huzzah, success! He jubilantly leaped in place, eager to summon Tai Jinren to savor the culinary delight, only to be abruptly interrupted by a deep, resonant roar. Looking up, he beheld a multitude of fiery kuei bulls surging forth from all directions. Their eyes glowed crimson, their demeanor frenzied, as though provoked by some intense stimulus. What on earth is happening? Lin Xiaozha was taken aback by this sudden turn of events. With a thunderous crash, the mountains crumbled and boulders tumbled down. The entire landscape of the nation's map began to shake violently. Alas, these creatures are drawn to the roasted fish. Lin Xiaozha finally grasped the situation, hastily snatching the fish and concealing it within the confines of the system. Yet, it was too late. The frenzied kuei bulls charged towards him relentlessly. What in the world is going on? Tai Jinren cried out amidst the chaos, only to be swiftly drowned out. Before he could comprehend the situation, a rampaging kuei bull collided with him, sending him tumbling across the ground. It seems that without imparting a lesson, they will not settle down. Tai Jinren scoffed, retrieving a wine gourd from his waist. He uncorked it, and instantly, a robust aroma of wine filled the air. Exquisite. Unable to resist, he took a sip and then hurled it with great force. Away. The wine gourd traced a graceful arc through the air before exploding with a resounding bang. Celestial soldiers descended, subduing the malevolent beasts. With a commanding shout from Tai Jinren, countless beams of golden light erupted from the gourd. Upon landing, they transformed into celestial warriors armed with blades and spears, charging towards the unruly kuei bulls. Although these celestial beings were merely manifestations of magical energy, each possessed formidable combat prowess. Before long, they quelled the rampaging bulls, restoring tranquility to the nation's map. Phew, finally dealt with that. He exhaled deeply, approaching Lin Xiaozha. My dear child, is this roasted fish a delight or merely a test of endurance? With that, he picked up the roasted crimson-scaled fish, nodding in appraisal. Ah, a golden hue, a rich aroma. It appears quite commendable. After his assessment, Tai Jinren opened his mouth and took a bite. He savored the flavor of the roasted fish, a look of rapture crossing his face. A hint of char. Quite acceptable. Quite acceptable? After all the toil I put into roasting this, and you deem it merely acceptable? Lin Xiaozha was instantly displeased. Tai Jinren smiled mysteriously. Did you truly believe that I was merely evaluating your fish grilling skills? Incorrect. The essence of my assessment lies in your mastery over the samadhi true fire. Lin Xiaozha gazed back in confusion. Tai Jinren, with a look of lamentation, pointed at the surrounding flora. Look around. In your pursuit of grilling a fish, you nearly incinerated the entire examination ground. Upon hearing this, Lin Xiaozha hastily turned to observe the scene. Indeed, the trees and flowers around had been charred to a crisp. This is not my fault. I was solely focused on grilling the fish. Humph, do not attempt to argue. Tai Jinren interrupted angrily. You were so preoccupied with the fish that you disregarded the environment. Therein lies your flaw. However, considering you ultimately grilled a perfect red-scaled fish, I shall reluctantly deem you successful this time. As soon as the words left his lips, a resounding roar echoed from above, and a golden beam of light descended, enveloping Lin Xiaozha. Congratulations, Nezha, for completing the first trial. Score, B rank. B rank. Lin Xiaozha's eyes widened in astonishment. Why didn't you mention this sooner? Had I known earlier, I certainly would not have caused such destruction. Tai Jinren shrugged. You didn't inquire, did you? My child, there remains much for you to learn. Extracting fire from the flames is easy, but protecting the world outside of it is the true challenge. I refuse to listen. I refuse to listen. Lin Xiaozha exclaimed in exasperation, kicking over the grill. Let us proceed to the next challenge at once. Chapter 10. The Trial of the Heart's Reflection. Tai Jinren waved his brush in the void, causing the clouds above to part. Golden specks of light cascaded down to the ground. The volcanic lava receded entirely, replaced by a serene, azure lake, its surface as smooth as a mirror. Hence it was named Mirror Lake. Mirror Lake stretches 3,000 feet, yet it does not ferry those consumed by delusions. Tai Jinren remarked, letting out a burp, as he pointed towards the shimmering lake. This is the second trial, the refinement of the heart. Jump in, there are no treasures within this lake. But you shall behold your own pitiful reflection. Are you attempting to deceive me again? Lin Xiaozha kicked a nearby stone, his celestial garment erupting into 7 feet of crimson radiance. Last time, you said grilling fish would suffice, yet the trial concerned protecting the grass and flowers. You speak too much. Tai Jinren waved his feather duster, ensnaring Lin Xiaozha's ankle and effortlessly flinging him towards the lake's center, causing waves to surge 3 feet high. Gurgling sounds echoed as Lin Xiaozha sputtered, choking on the lake's water. He quickly executed the water avoidance technique, leaping onto the surface. Clone technique, water avoidance technique? A flicker of surprise flashed in Tai Jinren's eyes. How has this child acquired such skills? However, he soon regained his composure. Munching on a braised pig trotter that seemed to have appeared from nowhere, his greasy fingers pointing towards the lake's heart. This mirror lake reflects the darkest corners of one's heart. Should you be ensnared by illusions? Before he could finish, Lin Xiaozha raised his hand to interrupt. He lowered his head to gaze upon the lake's surface, which was as smooth as a mirror, reflecting the visage of his childhood from a past life. Tai Jinren, swaying a wine gourd, leaned against the azure stone, his murky eyes mirroring the shimmering ripples. Encountering a weeping, unsightly child proved far more intriguing than roasting fish. At that moment, Lin Xiaozha's spirit had entirely succumbed to the illusion. A 5-year-old boy curled up in the corner of a kindergarten, his clothes stained with paint, surrounded by torn crayon drawings scattered about. At this juncture, 7 or 8 children encircled him, brandishing toy swords, chanting, "Monster, monster! Red eyes, great monster!" The innocent voices of the children caused the mottled plaster to flake off the walls. The boy, his small hands caked in mud, clutched his faded apron tightly against his chest. Lin Xiaozha's pupils suddenly constricted. Memories from his former life pierced his temples like steel nails, inducing a splitting headache. He beheld his younger self, inscribing words into the wall with bloodied fingernails, droplets of blood seeping into the cracks as he scrawled, "I am not a monster." The child in the illusion abruptly looked up, dark red demonic patterns swirling upon his forehead. Is this all? Lin Xiaozha suddenly grinned, declaring, "That day, I made those little brats pick up their teeth. What fear could there possibly be?" As his words fell, the Hunyuan silk abruptly erupted in crimson light, a fiery fist smashing towards the illusion before him, causing the mirror-like surface to shatter into myriad fragments. Each shard reflected the proud silhouette of a child perched atop a slide. The child version of Lin Xiaozha was seen gripping the collar of the leading boy, bloodied front teeth slipping through the other's fingers, cascading down the slide. As the illusion fractured, the lake's waters grew murkier, mist swirled, and the pool began to boil. The shattered visage of Madame Yin emerged from the vortex, her translucent arms encircling Lin Xiaozha's neck. "Jar, mother will never let father confine you again," she whispered. Before her words could finish, Lin Xiaozha's Hunyuan silk had already tightened around her throat. Did he appear to be a mere infant? He had only been born 2 days prior. When had he ever been confined? As he raised his foot to kick at Madame Yin's waist, a crystalline hairpin from her hair suddenly elongated, its 3-inch cold gleam piercing through his shoulder blade. The entire mirror lake boiled like a furnace. Countless icy spikes erupted from the boiling point, their tips reflecting Madame Yin's fractured visage. Lin Xiaozha leaped and spun above the lake's surface. The Hunyuan silk sliced through more and more ice spikes, the shattered shards forming a shimmering blade carpet on the lake, inscribed with the words, "Those who deny themselves shall be punished. Are you done yet?" He bellowed, and the Hunyuan silk suddenly extended to 3 yards, shattering the ice spikes in its wake. The fire-tipped spear then thrust forth, but hesitated slightly upon nearing Madame Yin's lingering image. In that moment of distraction, an eerie smile appeared on the illusory Madame Yin's face before she exploded, shards instantly slicing Lin Xiaozha's arm. The blood that flowed turned half the lake crimson. Hiss! Was this body's instinct at play? Lin Xiaozha gasped in pain, kneeling on the icy surface, watching the droplets of blood create ripples on the lake's surface. His resolve grew even stronger within. The voice of Tai Jinren penetrated the thick fog. "Child, it is easy to slay illusions. Yet confronting one's inner demons is a different challenge." What a trivial challenge. Lin Xiaozha suddenly sat cross-legged at the center of the lake, the demonic patterns on his forehead radiating brightly as the Hunyuan silk coiled around his arm like a serpent. Even if the path ahead were desolate, what of it? I shall defiantly laugh in the face of heaven. He shut his eyes tightly, allowing the myriad of illusions to tear at his body. As the demonic patterns on his forehead gradually transformed into a golden hue, within his sea of consciousness, the illusions morphed endlessly. Ultimately, the scene froze on that rainy night in his past when he discovered his congenital corneal disease. Lin Xiaozha was curled up in a wardrobe, hugging his knees. As muffled arguments between his parents echoed outside, "Send him to the orphanage. Let us have a healthy child. Is this all you amount to?" Suddenly, Lin Xiaozha burst from the wardrobe, roaring at his parents. "I have been called a monster for 18 long years, yet here I am, alive and kicking before you." The scene shattered instantly. The lake surged, creating a towering water curtain, each droplet reflecting different phases of Lin Xiaozha's life. The terrified faces of teachers and students at school, the disdainful glances from colleagues, the prematurely graying hair of the orphanage director, and even the moment in his past when he collapsed on the sofa, remote control in hand. Memories of his past life whirled like a revolving lantern. Taking a deep breath, Lin Xiaozha closed his eyes once more, letting the raging waters crash against him. A rumble resonated from the lake's depths. Emerging from the steaming waters was a moss-covered stone tablet, ancient inscriptions appearing beneath the flowing currents. The rigid easily breaks. Yet a gentle heart is not timid. All illusions abruptly froze. Lin Xiaozha opened his eyes wide, a cold smirk curling at the corners of his mouth. A gentle heart is not timid? Very well, I shall see if this gentle heart can defy heaven. Following his declaration, he soared into the sky. In his hand, the fiery spear transformed into 13 shadowy lances, piercing towards the mirrored lake. Boom! The surface of the water exploded, vapor rising in a mist. The steaming heat resembled the breath of a colossal beast, obscuring Lin Xiaozha's figure. As the mist dissipated, Lin Xiaozha stood proudly at the lake's center, unfazed by the crashing waters. In his eyes burned a fierce flame, a rebellious spirit, and unwavering determination to contest fate. Looking up at the sky, he silently vowed, "No matter how treacherous the path ahead, I shall carve my own way." Ding! The host has successfully comprehended the 13 spears of the demon path. Reward: mastery of the divine technique. Ding! Congratulations to the host for achieving the accomplishment of facing inner demons with a smile. Reward: passive talent pain conversion. Pain conversion: upon receiving damage, automatically convert 50 of pain into fighting spirit. Chapter 11. The choice between good and evil. I choose total annihilation. A gentle breeze suddenly swirled at the heart of the lake, tousling Lin Xiaozha's crimson hair. The power of the demon pill is indeed mysterious and unfathomable. Tai Jinren squinted at the lake, a trace of satisfaction appearing on his face. "Child, the assessment has concluded. Why haven't you come forth?" Before the words could settle, Lin Xiaozha had already leapt from the center of the lake, stepping onto the shore with the ethereal grace of the misty tapestry. He brushed off the droplets of water clinging to him and looked up at Master Tai. "Master, does this mean I've passed?" Sighing, Tai shook his head in resignation. "Well, I suppose you have barely scraped by." Clearly exasperated by Lin Xiaozha's reckless antics, he continued, "Your fiery disposition will inevitably lead you to grave misfortune. Remember, we cultivators must learn to balance firmness with flexibility if we wish to progress further." Upon hearing this, Lin Xiaozha shot a defiant glance at Tai, his eyes ablaze with rebellion. "What nonsense about balance? I shall forge ahead with unwavering resolve. Let us see what the heavens can do to me." With that proclamation, he closed his eyes and sat cross-legged, casting aside all distractions, immersing himself fully into his contemplative state. Breaking through his mental barrier, he was rewarded by the system with 2 powers, one primary and one auxiliary. the 13 demonic spears, and pain transformation. As the saying goes, what the system produces is always of exquisite quality. The 13 demonic spears perfectly aligned with the power of the demonic orb, undoubtedly a signature technique of his. Its might would only grow as Lin Xiaozha's strength increased. The auxiliary technique, seemingly trivial, was in fact of remarkable caliber. In summary, both were formidable. Observing Lin Xiaozha, who was deeply engrossed in his enlightenment, Tai couldn't help but show a hint of admiration. Although this child was a natural troublemaker, his talent for cultivation was indeed extraordinary. At this rate, he would likely ascend to the realm of immortals sooner than one might expect. Let him be. I shall refrain from intervening further, he thought to himself. As time slipped by, Lin Xiaozha gradually opened his eyes, a brilliant light shooting forth from them as if to pierce the very fabric of reality. Stretching languorously, he rose, feeling invigorated and brimming with strength. Master, I am ready, he called out to Tai, who was still meditating nearby. Your aura is stable, very good. Tai nodded, a smile of satisfaction gracing his face. It seems you have truly gained some insight this time. Let us proceed to the next trial. With that, he secured the wine gourd at his waist, and the mountain and river brush traced verdant paths through the air. As the ink swirled, the mountain and river map erupted in a magnificent display of brilliance, transforming the mirror lake into an ancient forest sea, unfurling into a realm where grasses danced in the breeze. An assessment? What shall we be tested on? Lin Xiaozha surveyed his surroundings, noting only the flowers and grasses. Finding nothing else, the third trial assesses the dichotomy of good and evil. Tai Jinren's sleeves swept across the ground, scattering celestial herbs, his voice mingling with the scent of wine. In this 100 herbs garden, there were no innocents. Did you not see that poisonous python? Lin Xiaozha peered through the swirling violet mist, glancing over. The entire garden was enveloped in a greenish haze. Ancient trees, thousands of years old, transformed into gnarled, venomous pythons, their crowns suddenly morphing into crimson-crowned cranes, while the ancient ginseng below exhaled misty vapors. At this moment, a python, several yards long, was tightly coiling around the ginseng. Its scales were pecked and torn by the crane's long beak, droplets of scarlet blood falling to the ground. The ginseng, astonishingly, writhed like a living creature, swiftly absorbing every last drop of blood. Upon closer inspection, one could see the roots densely entangled beneath the surface, tightly wrapping around the crane's feet. Indeed, it seemed as if they were playing house. As Lin Xiaozha turned, his fiery spear nearly jabbed Tai Jinren's wine-soaked nose. Not at all. The python was consuming the ginseng's medicinal essence, while the crane was devouring the python's gallbladder to take form. And the ginseng was absorbing the crane's essence to grow. With a sigh, Tai Jinren remarked, "Heaven and earth are indifferent, treating all beings as mere tools." Lin Xiaozha rolled his eyes. Tai Jinren, stroking his beard, finally became serious. This vicious cycle has already replayed 999 times in the 100 herbs garden. The task at hand is to save all three of them simultaneously. However, whichever one you save will inevitably lead to the demise of another. No sooner had the words left his lips than Lin Xiaozha leaped into the air, his fiery spear piercing through the void. The spear tip was aimed at the python, which was crushing the ginseng's roots. Sensing the imminent threat, the python swiftly released its grip and vanished like a shadow. Freed from its constraints, the ginseng rejoiced, its crimson fruits unleashing a cloud of toxic mist. The mist infiltrated the crane's body, causing it to seize up. The crane instantly transformed into a pool of pus and blood, consumed entirely by the ginseng as nourishment. First trial failed. Tai Jinren paused, his hand that was stroking his beard suddenly freezing, a slight twitch at the corner of his mouth. Your impatience is quite problematic. He shook his head in resignation, waving his hand as the scene changed. The previous tableau replayed once more. Consider carefully, child. Tai Jinren pointed towards the chaotic scene ahead, casually declaring, "You shall never pass this third trial." Lin Xiaozha fixated on the three entities entangled once again, his spear tip irritably tracing circles on the ground. This was clearly an intentional difficulty, a deadlock where saving one meant sacrificing another. Was this not a blatant attempt to ensure his failure? Was there a mistake? This was undeniably a deadlock. He grumbled in dissatisfaction. Under the heavenly mandate, all things are bound by fate. Even within a deadlock, there lies a glimmer of opportunity. Tai Jinren gazed at Lin Xiaozha with an inscrutable expression, pondering whether the young one could discern the singular method to extricate themselves from their predicament. Humph. Anyone can spout grandiloquent theories, Lin Xiaozha scoffed, turning his attention back to the chaotic battlefield ahead. Everyone, cease this madness. The mysterious sky ribbon swirled with the winds and thunder as he charged forward once more. This time, he wielded the fire spear to sweep aside the serpent's head, while the mysterious sky ribbon soared through the air to ensnare the crane's neck. Subsequently, he struck the ground with a mighty palm, shattering the earth and burying the celestial ginseng beneath a large mound of soil. Thereafter, he formed seals with his hands, pulling the ends of the mysterious sky ribbon, akin to wrapping zongzi, flinging the three entangled adversaries in different directions. I detest multiple-choice dilemmas. Behave yourselves. At that moment, the wrinkled visage of the ginseng spoke, its words laced with temptation. Young friend, should you assist this old man in eliminating these two nuisances, I shall offer my primordial ginseng beer to aid you in your ascension to immortality. Before the words had fully escaped, the scales of the venomous python erupted, its once emerald eyes turning a sinister crimson. Do not trust it, young friend. This wretched ginseng lures and slays spirit beasts every century to nurture ginseng fruits. Not long ago, it unleashed toxic mists to ravage my sacred mountain for its spiritual veins. You must not aid such malevolence. The python's hissing resonated, shaking loose stones from the cliff, yet its demeanor appeared genuine. The celestial crane, upon hearing this, shimmered with divine light, a spectral image of the southern heavenly gate materializing behind it. I serve the decree of the celestial master, guarding this place. Were it not for this serpent demon's theft of Yaoqi's sacred soil, I would not have lingered in the mortal realm for 3 decades. Do you truly intend to thwart my collection of demons? Chapter 12. The 3 corpses and 3 poisons. Spicy hot pot, what a farce. Lin Xiaozha seethed at the chaotic scene before him, rage boiling within. What nonsense of good and evil choices. What drivel about heavenly order. This is nothing more than a farcical display of the survival of the fittest. Unable to endure any longer, he slammed the fire spear to the ground, declaring, "Silence. All of you. You 3 shall pay for delaying my trials." An explosion of flames erupted around him, reducing the flora of the 100 Herbs garden to mere dust. In that moment, the celestial ginseng, the venomous python, and the celestial crane were all rendered speechless by his audacity. They had never anticipated that this individual, who had initially sought a solution to their dilemma, would suddenly descend into such madness. The ginseng devoured the crane consumed the python, and the python feasted on the ginseng. Lin Xiaozha twirled his spear, his surroundings ablaze with true fire, exclaiming, "You consume one another as if playing a game of snake? If all are guilty, then let them meet their demise." With a furious roar, he brandished the fire spear, reminiscent of a bloodied war god, charging at the ginseng, the python, and the crane. The 13 demonic spears, first form, the greedy wolf knocks at the gate. The fire spear swept through the air, its momentum akin to the greedy wolf star's emergence, exuding an indomitable force as it severed the ginseng's roots entirely. The mysterious sky ribbon danced like a celestial serpent. The venomous python coiled tightly around its prey, rendering it incapable of escape despite its desperate struggles. The blazing flames of the samadhi true fire roared past, scorching the crane's feathers to a charred black, eliciting cries of agony. "Have mercy, have mercy!" The celestial ginseng pleaded in despair, its once vibrant green leaves now dulled and lifeless. "I was wrong. I beg you, great immortal, spare my life." The python's eyes, filled with resentment, glimmered with terror. The crane swayed precariously, as if it could collapse at any moment. "If you dare to touch me, the celestial realm will not let you go." Lin Xiaozha's gaze was icy, completely disregarding their pleas and threats. "Die!" The fire-sharp spear ruthlessly pierced through the bodies of the celestial ginseng, the python, and the crane. What nonsense about good and evil choices," he scoffed. "In my view, good and evil should be like a spicy hot pot. The tripe and the throat must be cooked together. Today, we feast on spicy crane blood ginseng and snake stew." With that, he casually picked up a few dry branches from the ground and built a rudimentary fire. Then, he produced a copper pot, tossing the bodies of the celestial ginseng, the python, and the crane into the cauldron, wrapped in the misty sky silk. The boiling broth shimmered with tricolored spiritual light, the flames from the fire-sharp spear simmering the hot pot base. Lin Xiaozha never distinguished between meat and vegetables in his hot pot. He chuckled with pride as he retrieved various seasoning packets, beginning to concoct the broth. Soon, a rich aroma wafted through the herb garden. "Son of a turtle, the assessment is meant to teach you discernment between good and evil, not to." The Taoist master Tai pointed at the boiling copper pot, ready to admonish, but was interrupted by a sneeze caused by the enticing scent of the spicy hot pot. "Achoo!" Lin Xiaozha scoffed, nostrils raised. "If you have the guts, don't eat any later." Tai Master swallowed hard, his eyes gleaming as he stared at the copper pot. Good disciple. Can we eat now? Let me have a taste first. Lin Xiaozha, unable to contain himself, picked up a piece of python meat and placed it in his mouth. Exquisite flavor. Quick, let me have a taste too. The Taoist master, already impatient, seized a glistening piece of ginseng meat, his eyes lighting up. Oh my, this is truly delectable. It's simply too delicious. As Lin Xiaozha watched the Taoist master in rapture, he could not help but burst into laughter. Just then, the entire herb garden trembled violently. 3 blinding beams of light shot forth from the copper pot. Before Lin Xiaozha could react, the lights surged into his body through his 7 orifices, and he instantly fell into a deep slumber. Oh no, the 3 poisons have entered my body. The Taoist master cursed inwardly, hurriedly stepping forward to grasp Lin Xiaozha's neck. His eyes shimmering with jade-colored spiritual light, he observed as demonic patterns writhed upon Lin Xiaozha's back, 3 masses of black energy colliding furiously within a lotus-shaped seal. Son of a turtle, you are a natural demonic pill. You must hold on. Tai Jinren's throat rolled, his voice resonating with a rare tremor. At that moment, within Lin Xiaozha's body, 3 black lines coursed through his meridians. Tai Jinren formed a mudra and recited an incantation, directing a stream of spiritual light to Lin Xiaozha's brow. Suddenly, Lin Xiaozha felt a convulsion in his throat, and he expelled a mouthful of foul, black blood. As the blood touched the ground, it was accompanied by 3 piercing shrieks that dissipated into the void. Ding! Congratulations to the host for exterminating the 3 corpses of the polluted world. Reward: the innate divine ability of the fiery red lotus. With the system's notification, a crimson gold vortex emerged from Lin Xiaozha's dantian, and a lotus platform, ablaze with colorless flames, gradually materialized. At that moment, a fine rain began to fall upon the herbal garden. Tai Jinren's finger traced a command on Lin Xiaozha's brow. Beads of sweat forming on his nose. The fiery lotus is forged, the red lotus burns sins, and the demon pill guards the body against flames. Swiftly, as per the command, my child, you must endure for your master. As he uttered these words, the sleeves of his Taoist robe had already turned charred, exposing the golden inner lining that shimmered within. Ah, it hurts terribly. Lin Xiaozha suddenly knelt and howled. As the lotus silhouette behind him began to devour the black energy of the 3 corpses within him, with each strand consumed, a new gilded line appeared on the red lotus in his dantian. When the 12th line was fully formed, the world fell silent. Black blood seeped from every pore of Lin Xiaozha, yet he broke into a wide grin, exclaiming, Master, this flame is exhilaratingly intense. Before his words could fade, a surge of colorless flames erupted from within him, turning the vegetation within 3 zhang into mere ashes. Tai Jinren kicked Lin Xiaozha, who was still reveling in his triumph, and hastily poured a vial of ancient ice marrow liquid over him. You foolish child, when the fiery lotus retaliates, you must chant the calming heart mantra, lest your spirit be reduced to ash. Do not weep over it. As steam enveloped them, Tai Jinren gazed at the 13th gilded line gradually forming on the red lotus atop Lin Xiaozha's chest, exhaling in relief. He wiped away the remnants of chili oil from his lips, chuckling while scolding. This illusion of the 3 poisons has yet to be surpassed by anyone. Yet you, my child, have stumbled upon the solution. To stop killing with killing, you have perfectly unraveled it. As he spoke, a scroll flew from his sleeve, unfurling to reveal a golden commendation, decisive in slaughter, grade A. When Lin Xiaozha awoke once more, he discovered a red lotus imprint adorned with 12 gilded lines upon his chest. Tai Jinren stood beside him, observing with a smirk. You are fortunate indeed. You have gained the allegiance of the fiery lotus, but this entity harms the user before it harms others. You must wield it with caution. For you, it could be both a blessing and a curse. Before he could finish, he suddenly let out a loud, spicy belch. Subsequently, black smoke poured from his nostrils, and he collapsed to the ground. Master, what has happened to you? Lin Xiaozha called out, as Tai Jinren's fingers twitched, reaching for a paintbrush. But his hand refused to obey. Go find my senior brother. Upon uttering these words, Tai Jinren rolled his eyes and fainted. His skin was visibly darkening at an alarming rate. Chapter 13. Father and mother said, the young master shall not be trifled with. Quickly take me to find my senior brother. Tai Jinren's voice grew increasingly feeble, nearly inaudible towards the end. His gaze began to wander, and intricate black patterns emerged on his skin, spreading like a spider's web. This was a sign of the purging flames consuming his body. If not treated promptly, the consequences could be dire, either a complete loss of cultivation or, at worst, the scattering of his soul. Master, Lin Xiaozha exclaimed, his heart ablaze with urgency. He understood that Tai Jinren had suffered this calamity while trying to save him. Yet, he had only recently grasped the divine art of the purging flames and Red Lotus. He knew how to ignite the flames, but was at a loss on how to extinguish them. He had to hurry and seek the assistance of Wuyang Xianwen. Grasping the mountain river brush, he waved his wrist, conjuring an errant portal of ink in the air. Without hesitation, he lifted the unconscious Tai Jinren and dashed out. As shadows danced around them, they tumbled onto the bluestone floor of the Li family's courtyard. Father, quickly come and save Master. He is nearly cooked. His voice echoed through the vast courtyard. Hearing his cries, Li Jing and Madame Yin rushed over. Their faces turned ashen upon seeing Tai Jinren's condition. The purging flames have backfired. Li Jing instantly recognized the nature of Tai Jinren's injuries. In a state of frantic urgency, Lin Xiaozha urged, Father, Master said to take him to Yushu Palace for help. Li Jing took a deep breath and retrieved a golden talisman from his robe. This is the communication talisman of Yushu Palace. I shall send word immediately. He tossed the talisman into the air, forming incantations with his hands while murmuring incantations. The talisman erupted in radiant light, transforming into a golden rainbow that soared into the clouds. Moments later, the golden rainbow reappeared, bearing a response from Yushu Palace. Yushu Palace has consented to a summons. Li Jing's expression turned grave. There is no time to lose. I must head to Yushu Palace at once and seek the aid of Wuyang Xianwen. He turned to Lin Xiaozha, his gaze filled with concern and reproach, yet overshadowed by a profound sense of helpless affection. Xiaozha, listen to me carefully. Li Jing's tone was stern. You are not to step outside the Li residence until I return. Otherwise, I shall break your legs upon my return. Lin Xiaozha could not help but stifle a laugh at his words. If I am a dog's leg, then what are you, father? Li Jing was momentarily at a loss for words due to his retort. Humph, I shall deal with you when I return. He shot an exaggerated glare at Lin Xiaozha. But there was no time for banter then. He ascended with a golden talisman, transforming into a stream of light, swiftly heading towards the direction of Kunlun Mountain. Shortly after Li Jing's departure, a sudden cacophony of urgent gongs and drums erupted outside the Li residence. Report. A demon is attacking beyond the pass. Madam, please rally quickly. Upon hearing the news, Lady Yin immediately donned her battle gear. Before departing, she approached Lin Xiaozha, saying, Zha, be a good child and stay at home. I shall return to play with you. As she spoke, she gently styled Lin Xiaozha's hair into twin buns, using his bangs to conceal the mark that signified his identity as a demon child. All right. Lin Xiaozha nodded in agreement, watching his mother's figure vanish at the gate. However, no sooner had Lady Yin left than he began concocting mischief. I, the young master, have important matters to attend to. How can I be confined? He cast a glance at the two bronze guardians stationed at the entrance, and, with a clever idea forming in his mind, set his plan into motion. When the clock struck the hour of the dog, Lin Xiaozha crouched at the base of the courtyard wall. At that moment, the two guardian beasts were nestled together. Dozing off, Lin Xiaozha shouted, Fire. Following that, he flicked a spark from his fingertips, igniting the dry leaves on the ground. Seizing the opportunity while the bronze beasts scrambled to extinguish the flames, he stealthily navigated the bluestone path, employing the Wuchen technique to evade the approaching servants, and swiftly made his way to the back wall. With a graceful leap, he soared over it. Haha, I am free. Landing on the ground, he laughed heartily, turning with a flourish towards the street. Yet, upon arriving on the thoroughfare, he sensed an unsettling atmosphere. The once bustling street fell abruptly silent at his arrival. The old man selling pancakes froze in place, his bamboo tray spilling its contents across the ground. The night watchman's baton clanged painfully against his foot, yet his gaze remained fixated on the bouncing child in the red belly band. In the next moment, the entire street rippled with fear, akin to stones cast into water. Oh no, Nezha has come out. People screamed and fled as if confronted by a specter. The fishmonger's bamboo tray clattered against the threshold, 3 yellow croakers flopping helplessly in the crevices of the stone pavement. Heavens! The Li residence. Before she could finish her thought, Lin Xiaozha had already sauntered up to her. Deliberately, he jabbed his fiery spear towards her fish stall, instantly shattering the frozen fish beneath the ice. The system notification chimed within his consciousness, as the emotional value from the fishmonger surged by 66 points. Not far away, a storyteller lamented, the demon child has descended, bringing calamity to Chentang. He continued, on the day the demon child emerged, the Dragon King's son of the East Sea. You're talking nonsense. Lin Xiaozha hurled a piece of tile, shattering the teacup on the table, while the Muntian Ling curled around the storyteller's goat beard, forming a delicate bow. My birthday is on the 7th day of the 7th month. On that day, Ao Bing was still hatching in his egg. You monster. Go back to the Li residence and await your demise. The butcher Wang Er seized a handful of pig intestines and hurled them fiercely at Lin Xiaozha. Before Lin Xiaozha could react, the Muntian Ling instinctively shielded him, swelling into a 3-zhang crimson haze. In the next instant, the entire pork stall disintegrated into a cloud of fragments. The startling noise frightened the children by the roadside into tears. Lin Xiaozha silently lamented his misdeed and hurried to soothe the Muntian Ling's volatile temper, only to discover that he had unexpectedly gained 250 emotional points from the children's distress. The sound of their crying instantly drew the attention of passers-by, who mistakenly believed Lin Xiaozha intended to harm the children. They began throwing their belongings in an attempt to protect them. In an instant, various discarded fish, shrimp, and rotten vegetable leaves were hurled toward Lin Xiaozha. Yet, before the deluge of filth could approach, the Muntian Ling erupted once more, shredding the debris to pieces. The monster is killing people. A few children hiding at a distance screamed in terror and began to flee in panic. System notifications promptly followed. Ding. The host received a complaint from Fishmonger A. Emotional points 15. Ding. The host received disdain from Butcher B. Emotional points 65. Ding. The host received admiration from Widow C. Emotional points 99. Everyone, stand still. Lin Xiaozha suddenly leapt onto the flagpole of the wonton stall, his fiery spear sweeping over the trembling crowd below. Mark my words. My name is Nezha. From now on, anyone who dares to call me a monster shall face my ruthless wrath. Chapter 14. Emotional Surge. Delightful entertainment, is that clear? The townsfolk trembled at Lin Xiaozha's roar, nodding fervently. Lin Xiaozha feigned a fearsome demeanor. Have you all lost your voices? I ask you, is that clear? Yes. Yes. The crowd below hurriedly responded, fearful of incurring Lin Xiaozha's wrath and inviting calamity. Ding. The host received fear from Wang Er Go. Emotional points 88. Ding. The host received shock from Zhang Suihua. Emotional points 66. Ding. Congratulations to the host for triggering the manifesting in front of people achievement. Reward. Exclusive score for young hero Nezha X1. The system notifications continued to chime, filling Lin Xiaozha with immense satisfaction. I've struck gold this time. His purpose for coming to the street was to amass emotional points for a system lottery. Observing the townsfolk below, Lin Xiaozha stroked his chin and chuckled with a signature cackle. The quality of this batch of leaks is quite good. A few more scares, and I'll be able to make a tenfold draw. He leaped down, shattering the bluestone slab beneath his foot, while the chaotic banner behind him ripped apart with a sharp crack, just as he was about to unleash another roar. A childlike nursery rhyme drifted from the throng behind him. The demon child cries, Chentang withers, father dies, mother is executed. The voice was crisp and innocent, yet it carried a chilling malice. Warning, mental attack detected. Consume 100 emotional points to activate the diaper shield. Curse you. Lin Xiaozha's forehead throbbed with veins as he pushed through the crowd, charging towards the source of the sound. Before him were several small children in split-crotch pants, clapping their grimy little hands as they jumped in a hopscotch game. The rotund leader, munching on a candied hawthorn skewer, sang while sugary residue smeared his face. Their countenances bore innocent smiles, yet the nursery rhyme they sang was laced with curses. Silence. Lin Xiaozha bellowed, his voice resonating powerfully, sending a shockwave that knocked several children off balance. A few of them burst into tears. Among them, the youngest trembled as he pulled out a rattle, sobbing and shaking it. Lin Xiaozha's magical markings throbbed with fury as he was about to erupt when suddenly, a girl with sky-high pigtails raised a wooden sword, exclaiming, Behold! Witness my demon-slaying sword technique. With a swift jab, the sword tip accurately struck a rather sensitive part of Lin Xiaozha's anatomy. You did that on purpose. Lin Xiaozha spun in place, clutching his legs, when he caught sight of a book falling from the girl's clothing, on the 100 deaths of demon children. Dark strands of hair fluttered from its pages, emanating an aura that felt eerily familiar. Damn that Shingongbao. The crimson glow of his magical markings surged, causing the ground beneath him to crack, as a violent emotion threatened to engulf him entirely. He sensed his consciousness being gradually eroded by the power of the demon pill. Heaven and earth, mysterious sect, the root of all energies. Cultivate for eons, and attain divine powers. He forcefully chanted the calming spell imparted by Tai Jinren, striving to suppress the tumult within him. The incantation echoed in his mind, cleansing his raging thoughts like a pure spring. Gradually, the glow of his magical markings dimmed, and the spreading cracks in the ground ceased. Taking a deep breath, he seized the girl's collar, pulling her close to his face. "Speak. Who taught you the exorcism sword technique?" "It was that scoundrel from the west of the city." The girl squeaked, terrified. "He said if we sang it 100 times, we would get candied hawthorns." "Candied hawthorns, is it?" Lin Xiaozha sneered. Though the people of Chentang Pass harbored disdain for him, it was merely rooted in their fear of his demon pill identity. They would not stoop to inciting their children to chant curses against him. It was clear, with a mere thought, that this was undoubtedly the handiwork of Shen Gongbao. His intentions were rather straightforward. He sought to incite anger by leveraging the townsfolk, thereby cultivating a profound disdain for Chentang Guan. This would, in turn, facilitate his future endeavors. "Alas, I am no longer the Navi Nezha of yore." A sinister smile crept across his lips as he addressed the group of children. "Come, allow me to teach you a more spirited tune." With that, he unleashed his voice, bellowing, "It's him! It's him! Our friend, little Nezha." The magical rope, understanding the atmosphere, conjured 2 copper basins, creating a rhythmic accompaniment. The fiery spear, adept at theatrics, expelled a plume of true fire, igniting the air with the dazzling flames that formed the number 666. The children, wide-eyed, gazed in awe, their expressions more pronounced than the celestial rings. One particularly audacious child, emboldened by the rhythm, began to sway. In the heavens, he reigns supreme. In the seas, he rivals Ao Run. Lin Xiaozha spontaneously improvised lyrics. The magical rope entwined the Butcher Wang heiress belt, transforming him into a vibrant ribbon dancing through the air. Ding! The host receives joy from the mischievous children. Emotional value, 999 points. Ding! Congratulations to the host for achieving over 1,000 in emotional value. Rewarded with the limited Skin Child King Nezha, which adds a youthful lilt to spoken words. Soon, the song Young Hero Nezha reverberated through the streets of Chentang Guan, rightfully claiming its spot atop the children's rhyme charts. As night fell, when the hour of the night watch sounded, Lady Yin returned home, her attire stained with blood, her body weary. Passing through the streets, she was astounded to find the ambience had taken a peculiar turn. The young women from the brothel danced to the rhythm of Young Hero Nezha, while self-proclaimed scholars waved their scrolls like glow sticks in exuberance. Even the guard dog, De Huang, squatting on the ground, occasionally barked, seemingly eager to join the chorus. What on earth is happening? Lady Yin furrowed her brow and hastened her pace back to the estate. As her footsteps echoed in the corridor, Lin Xiaozha, perched upon the wall observing the dance, swiftly transformed into a streak of red light, darting into his chamber. Moments later, Lady Yin rushed to his bedroom door. Pushing it open, she discovered Lin Xiaozha sprawled across the bed, snoring, with remnants of candied hawthorn at the corners of his mouth. Phew, it seems I was overthinking. She silently sighed in relief. How obedient he is. Surely he wouldn't sneak out to play. Observing Lin Xiaozha's peaceful slumber, a subtle smile of contentment graced Lady Yin's face as she approached to cover him with the blanket he had failed to arrange properly. Under the luminous full moon, a sudden rustling sound emanated from beyond the walls of the Li residence. Bathed in moonlight, the scene unfolded. Black tendrils writhed slowly, resembling venomous snakes that prey upon the unwary. They slithered along the base of the wall, climbing up the outer courtyard of the Li residence, furtively surveying all within. Meanwhile, Lin Xiaozha, ensconced in slumber, turned restlessly, mumbling a word. Kill. As dawn's light pierced through the papered window, Lin Xiaozha found himself seated upon his bed, meticulously picking the grime from beneath his toenails. The emotional currency he had accrued the previous day on the streets remained unspent, a fact that had kept him tossing and turning, unable to find repose. Throughout the night, the sounds of some grand affair from a neighboring household reverberated beneath the earth, startling his protective spirit, Huan Tianling, into activating its defense mode, weaving a net of vigilance upon the beams of the room. It was not until the third watch of the morning that Lin Xiaozha, having awakened for a midnight visit, noticed and retracted the net. Having dealt with the grime, he stretched languidly and stepped into the courtyard. Upon exiting, he immediately sensed an unusual occurrence. The ancient locust tree, which towered over him by several hundred cycles, typically stood resplendent with flourishing foliage and a verdant canopy. Yet today, inexplicably, it appeared drained of its vitality, its bare branches ensnared by black tendrils. The bark, cracked and fissured, oozed a viscous black liquid that resembled the fangs of serpents, causing a chill to race down one's spine at the mere sight. Rubbing his sleepy eyes, he leaned in for a closer inspection, discovering that the surface of the tendrils was adorned with minute barbs, from which a dark green sap seeped slowly, exuding an oddly fragrant aroma as it dripped to the ground, producing a peculiar sizzle that resonated with a faint corrosive sound. The tree's demise was indeed suspicious. He kicked at the vine-covered stump of the locust tree, causing more of the viscous black liquid to seep forth from the fissures in the bark. The emergence of this liquid filled the air with a fetid stench, mingling the scent of decay with the earthy aroma of soil, evoking a sense of nausea. "What on earth is this?" he muttered, reaching out to pluck a tendril for closer examination. "Xiaozha, do not!" came a sudden, urgent call from behind him. Lin Xiaozha turned to find his mother, dressed in gleaming silver armor, exuding an air of valor, though her brow bore an inexplicable hint of fatigue. Lady Yin strode forward, grasping Lin Xiaozha's wrist with surprising strength. "Mother, what is this?" Lin Xiaozha asked, bewildered by her demeanor. Avoiding his gaze, Lady Yin spoke with grave seriousness. "Recently, strange creatures have been appearing near Chentang Pass. I must go forth to vanquish these fiends. Should an emergency arise, crush this talisman, and I shall return immediately." With that, she produced a jade talisman from her bosom and pressed it into Lin Xiaozha's hand. In the kitchen, Osmantha's cake steamed gently as she affectionately ruffled her son's hair, intending to impart a few more words of caution. However, Lin Xiaozha interjected promptly, exclaiming, "I know. Stay within the gates and avoid trouble. Be a good, obedient baby." "You rascal," Lady Yin chided playfully before turning to leave the estate. Lin Xiaozha watched as his mother rode away, but as he shifted his gaze, he noticed a few drops of dark green liquid staining her armor. The liquid bore an uncanny resemblance to that which dripped from the thorny vines. Yet, by the time he contemplated warning her, she had already galloped off. Never mind. As he collected his thoughts, he suddenly recalled that he had yet to complete today's sign-in task. He hurried to the withered locust tree and silently recited, "System, sign in. Congratulations, host, on a successful sign-in. Today's sign-in location, beneath the heart-eating black vine parasite. Reward, 1 mother egg of the devouring god bug." A mother egg of the devouring god bug? The name sounded formidable. Lin Xiaozha's eyes gleamed as he gazed at the emerald-green insect egg in his hand, approximately the size of a pigeon's egg, marveling at its extraordinary appearance. The surface of the egg glimmered with an otherworldly sheen, and he could sense a faint, lifelike tremor within. Devouring god bug mother egg can hatch into a bug that exclusively feeds on monsters, resembling a jade-green silkworm. Following the system's instructions, Lin Xiaozha pricked his fingertip, allowing a drop of blood to fall onto the egg. The droplet was swiftly absorbed, and with a crack, the egg split open. With a chirp, a small, fully green, translucent silkworm emerged, peering curiously at him with its glossy little eyes. "Little buddy, you'll be sticking with me from now on." The creature appeared to comprehend his words. Wriggling excitedly, Lin Xiaozha grinned widely, placing it atop the withered tree to stretch its tiny limbs. Yet, this little fellow was remarkably fierce, biting into the black vine and devouring it with evident delight. As it consumed, the vine visibly withered, shriveling away until it turned to ash. Burp. The devouring god bug burped, excreting peanut-sized crystalline stones that radiated rich spiritual energy. "Goodness, this bug's excrement is premium spirit stones," Lin Xiaozha exclaimed. Picking one up and feeling the pure energy within, his joy palpable. This was truly a sustainable venture. The system chimed in with playful mockery. "I suggest the host quickly publish a book titled How I Became Wealthy Through Bug Excrement. Get lost." Lin Xiaozha retorted with a laugh, retracting the devouring god bug into the spirit pet space and rubbing his hands together in preparation for a grand lottery endeavor. "Heavenly spirits, earthly spirits, I lack the courage for a single draw. Let us aim for a tenfold miracle. This time, I'm guaranteed quality." Having recited his incantation, he took a deep breath and initiated the system's 10 consecutive draws, unfolding before him. The virtual spinning wheel whirled rapidly, its pointer gliding over a myriad of enticing options, mesmerizing the onlookers. Lin Xiaozha, filled with excitement, shouted exuberantly, "I must receive something extraordinary. Ding ding ding. Congratulations, host. You have obtained 5 fragments of the source of the demonic path, the Clear Heart incantation, an upgraded version of the Clear Heart spell, and 4 complimentary vouchers. Thank you for your patronage." "Ha ha ha, I knew it. A tenfold reward is guaranteed," Lin Xiaozha exclaimed with joy, pumping his fist as he beheld the newfound treasures in his system's inventory, his heart brimming with delight. Without hesitation, he chose to merge the fragments of the demonic path's essence. In an instant, a torrent of violent and malevolent power surged through his limbs and bones. Lin Xiaozha closed his eyes in meditation. He felt as though he were submerged in a sea of blood, surrounded by countless demonic shadows howling and roaring, seemingly attempting to lure him into the abyss of dark sorcery. Simultaneously, eerie black, demonic patterns began to surface upon his skin. As the sun reached its zenith, Lin Xiaozha slowly opened his eyes. At that moment, his left eye had turned a crimson red, while his right eye became an inky black, resembling two bottomless whirlpools, greedily devouring the surrounding spiritual energy. Within his dantian, 5 fragments of the source had stained the fiery red lotus and the true fire of samadhi with a deep black hue. A cry of unrestrained exhilaration burst forth. The power within Lin Xiaozha surged wildly, propelling his cultivation to new heights, nearing the pinnacle of qi refinement and spirit transformation. Warning: Host's fusion degree of the source of the demonic path has reached 80. It is advised to recite Chapter 3 of the Clear Heart incantation immediately. Could you at least provide a musical score? Lin Xiaozha gritted his teeth, suppressing the swirling demonic energy within him, as he silently chanted the newly acquired incantation. Greed, anger, ignorance, all dissolve into fleeting clouds. The 7 emotions freeze, and the 6 desires become ice, urgent as the law commands. As the incantation flowed from his lips, the demonic mark on his forehead gradually transformed into a playful emoticon. Simultaneously, the demonic energy within him began to calm, and his eyes slowly regained clarity. That was close. Chapter 16. The heart-consuming demon emerges. The land reveals itself. Though the essence of the demonic path was indeed powerful, one must not indulge excessively. Feeling the surging power within, Lin Xiaozha let out a long breath, his heart a mix of excitement and trepidation. Just then, a muffled sound of collapse resonated from the southeast. In the distance, the bronze warning bell atop the city tower chimed ominously. Lin Xiaozha leaped onto the rooftop and beheld a towering black mist rising from the east of the city, where dozens of gelatinous black vines writhed along the streets. Strangely, these vines bore protruding faces. Just yesterday, the fishmonger who had thrown dried salted fish at him was now wide-mouthed, emitting a silent wail. Help! The faint cry for help pierced through Lin Xiaozha's heart like a dagger. He turned abruptly, only to find 2 household servants in the courtyard, staring fearfully at the sky. What is happening? He demanded, his voice laced with urgency. Young master, look. The housekeeper trembled as he pointed towards the sky, his voice quivering with fear. Lin Xiaozha lifted his gaze. The once clear sky was now shrouded in a thick blanket of dark clouds, oppressive and swirling ominously. Boom, boom, boom. Dust billowed through the streets of the city as thick black vines, resembling massive pythons, wreaked havoc. Debris flew and chaos ensued. The terrified pedestrians screamed and fled in disarray. Suddenly, a black vine coiled around a 7- or 8-year-old girl, lifting her high, as if to consume her. The girl cried out in terror, struggling desperately. But to no avail. I must save her. Panic gripped Lin Xiaozha's heart as he hurled a handful of fire towards the kitchen in the backyard. Igniting the chili powder he had concealed, extinguish the flames, he shouted, seizing the moment when the barrier beast quelled the fire. He vaulted over the wall and dashed into the streets of the city. Monster, cease your rampage. Several city guards roared, brandishing their spears as they lunged at the vine creature. Foolish mortals. A disdainful snicker echoed from the black vines, and several thin tendrils detached from the main body, ensnaring the soldiers. Taken by surprise, the guards found themselves immobilized by the creeping vines. This black vine creature is formidable. It seems only the general's wife can subdue it. Our efforts would be futile. We must flee. If we do not escape now, we shall surely perish. The terrified murmurs of the soldiers reached Lin Xiaozha as he rushed to provide assistance. Who dares to flee? He exclaimed, appearing like a flash of lightning in the center of the street. You all go save the people. I shall confront this vine demon. Yes. The soldiers felt a wave of relief and quickly dispersed to rescue the townsfolk. Hey, monster, release that girl. Lin Xiaozha's voice thundered, resonating through the air and causing the black vines to tremble. Hee, Nezha, you have finally chosen to reveal yourself. The main vine quaked violently, revealing several twisted faces, remnants of the townsfolk it had devoured. In that moment, they writhed in agony upon the tendrils, their eyes sprouting fine roots. Help! The butcher Wang Er's face peeled away, exposing the grayish-blue vine tissue beneath. Lin Xiaozha felt a wave of nausea surge within him, nearly overwhelming him. A prime opportunity. The vine demon directed 3 slender tendrils toward Lin Xiaozha. The Hunyuan tether sensed the murderous intent and instinctively coiled around the incoming lashes. Reacting swiftly, Lin Xiaozha wielded his fire spear, severing the tendril and snaring the girl. He leaped into the air, using the Hunyuan tether to catch the girl and throw her back. Catch her! A soldier, hearing the call, hurriedly reached out to grasp the girl and turned to flee towards safety. The little demon still possesses a semblance of compassion? The black vine demon emitted a rasping, cackling laugh reminiscent of an ancient crone, as its main trunk suddenly split open to reveal 7 gaping maws, each housing a human head. Ha ha ha. Soon I shall consume you, and I dare anyone to impede me. I shall defile your ancestral grave. Lin Xiaozha's forehead erupted with magical runes, radiating a crimson glow, as he unleashed a torrent of obscenities, 360 variations of foul language. Your vine is as hollow as a latrine. Does your mother know? Being ugly is not your fault. Yet, being this horrendously ugly is a 1,000-fold error. How dare you emerge to terrify others? I can only surmise that lightning must have struck your mother during your birth. Such vile invectives made even the stone lions lining the streets cover their ears in shame. Lin Xiaozha, transformed into a master of verbal combat, unleashed a barrage of insults upon the black vine demon. Ding! The host's level of foul language has reached an immortal realm, unlocking the talent rhetorical warfare, awarding 999 emotional points. Lin Xiaozha mused, what a uniquely delightful method of reward distribution from this system. The black vine demon, infuriated to the point of smoke billowing from its 7 orifices, let out a shrill, elderly screech. Purple toxic mist spewed forth from its severed tendrils, instantly corroding the cobblestones into a honeycomb structure. You little wretch, daring to insult me. I shall rend your body into 1,000 pieces. The vine demon, in a fit of rage, unleashed countless tendrils that danced wildly like a chaotic horde. Blotting out the sun, a dense purple fog followed closely behind. Lin Xiaozha, unable to evade in time, was enveloped by the mist. In an instant, he felt the world shift before his eyes. Above, dark clouds gathered, thunder crackling ominously. Below, corpses lay strewn across the land, rivers running red with blood. The celestial being Tai was impaled by myriad black vines, affixed to a massive stone tablet, his robes stained crimson. Li Jing, sword in hand, pointed accusingly at Lin Xiaozha, his eyes wide with fury. You ungrateful wretch! It is all you're doing. You have brought death to the entire town. I shall slay you. Upon hearing these words, Lin Xiaozha felt a piercing pain in his heart, as though a sharp blade had pierced through him. It wasn't me. I didn't do it. He yearned to protest, yet found himself utterly voiceless. At that moment, the system's message flashed. Darling, the one you have pierced is not me, but my heart. Gagging, Lin Xiaozha collapsed to the ground, forcing himself to regain composure. It is but an illusion. All of this is false. He took a deep breath, silently reciting the heart-purifying incantation to maintain clarity. Subsequently, he brandished his fiery spear, sweeping it around him. 13th style of demonic path, 3rd form, fire catastrophe. Break for me. With a resounding explosion, a fire dragon soared into the sky, shattering the illusion and dissipating into the void. You have shattered my illusion, the black vine demon exclaimed. As long as the green mountains remain, I shall not fear the absence of firewood. You shall pay for this, young one. Sensing the imminent peril, the black vine demon burrowed underground, making its hasty escape. As it passed, houses collapsed like a row of dominoes. Trying to flee, Lin Xiaozha stepped forward, pursuing the direction in which the black vine demon had fled. Is this all you are capable of? In a mere moment, he caught up with the demon burrowing into the earth. The mixed heavenly silk, the crimson satin surged suddenly, ensnaring the main vine with a fierce grip. Liquid splattered, and the vine's skin peeled away, revealing its true form. Astonishingly, it was the statue of the earth god that had vanished from the city god temple beyond the pass for half a month. Yet, at this moment, the statue's eye sockets were overrun with vines, and its mouth was stretched almost to the roots of its ears. Surprised, are we? The statue emitted a bizarre laugh, a blend of male and female voices, expressing gratitude to the foolish populace who offered sacrifices daily. Chapter 17. The Trap Beyond the Pass, the Purgatory Within. The earth god wore a strange, benevolent smile, entirely devoid of its former gentle visage. One half of its face remained somewhat normal, while the other was hollow-eyed, with plump maggots wriggling in and out, inducing a wave of nausea, gathering the grievances of the masses, transforming into an unparalleled demonic body. This is how one achieves true freedom. With each utterance, the stench of decay around it intensified. If you were to play the role of a deity, at least do so with some professionalism. The fiery spear grazed the earth god's ear before embedding itself into the incense table, which exploded with a thunderous roar. Amidst the flying wood splinters, Lin Xiaozha leaped and landed atop the earth god's head, infusing the spear with true fire, penetrating its crown. The real city god temple has long been turned into a slaughterhouse by you, hasn't it? Hee hee, accompanied by a sinister chuckle. the shattered would suddenly coalesce into the form of an enchanting woman. Her elongated eyes shimmered with an eerie green light, and her blood-red lips curled into a seductive smile. Lin Xiaozha stood still, arms crossed, silently observing the black vine spirit's display. The woman glided gracefully towards him, each step exuding an intoxicating allure. "Little one, do you know that we originate from the same source?" Her voice was alluring, seemingly capable of ensnaring souls. As she spoke, she crouched before Lin Xiaozha, her delicate fingers lightly tracing his chest. A chill coursed through Lin Xiaozha, prompting him to instinctively retreat a step. "We have both been scorned by this hypocritical world, shunned by those self-righteous immortals." The woman, undeterred by Lin Xiaozha's resistance, advanced further, her voice laced with temptation. "Why not join forces and offer a blood sacrifice to Chentang Pass? From henceforth, we shall become the supreme rulers of the demonic path. Would that not be delightful?" As she spoke, she extended her arms, attempting to ensnare Lin Xiaozha's neck with her limbs entwined in black vines. The gesture appeared gentle, yet concealed a lethal intent. The thorns on the vines glimmered with a chilling light, evidently imbued with potent venom. Just as the vines were about to graze Lin Xiaozha's skin, a blaze of searing flames erupted from thin air. The three calamities fire. Lin Xiaozha could no longer endure, igniting in a fierce inferno. The flames were as dark as ink, more ferocious than the true fire of Samadhi. The woman transformed from the black vine spirit emitted a piercing shriek. Her enchanting form burned in the fire, and in the blink of an eye, she was reduced to a pile of charred remains, crumbling inch by inch. Master of the demonic path? Lin Xiaozha brandished the fire spear, its tip aimed directly at the charred remnants below. "I am a demon, slayer of my own kind." The spear cut through the air, producing a deafening shriek. Boom! The fire spear plunged violently into the half-human, half-demon earth. Squelch! The ground was pierced through by the fire spear. A torrent of thick black ichor gushed forth, eroding the ground into uneven pits. Lin Xiaozha lightly touched the ground, appearing before the shattered visage of the earth god. "Before me, you dare masquerade as a deity." As the words fell, he stomped down fiercely. Crack! The statue of the earth god completely collapsed, turning into a heap of rubble. Hee, a sinister laugh echoed from the depths of the earth. "Little demon, you have fallen for the trap." Lin Xiaozha's heart jolted, and he suddenly turned to gaze towards the direction of Chentang Pass. Damn it! Simultaneously, within Chentang Pass, a heart-wrenching scream pierced the air. At this moment, the once bustling streets had transformed into a hellish nightmare. The air was thick with the stench of blood, mingled with the acrid scent of charred remains, inducing nausea. Smoke billowed from the ruined buildings. Among the debris, bodies lay sprawled in disarray. In the center of the street, a child clad in a red belly band slowly approached a woman collapsed in a pool of blood. The child's face bore an uncanny resemblance to Lin Xiaozha. He knelt down, extending his tender little hand to gently caress the woman's cheek. The woman's chest had been brutally opened, revealing stark white bones and a still twitching embryo. "Do not fear. I shall guide you on your journey." The child's voice was soft yet chilling. Plunge! He abruptly thrust his hand into the woman's chest. In the next moment, a living heart appeared in his palm. Bang! The heart exploded, splattering into a pool of flesh and blood, trickling down through the child's fingers. The woman was the infamous widow Zhao of Chentang Pass. She made a living selling tofu, known for her kindness and amiability. At this moment, she trembled as she raised her finger, summoning the last vestiges of her strength to write 4 blood-soaked characters on the ground. The murderer, Nezha, having inscribed those 4 characters. Widow Zhao's hand fell limply, devoid of life. Hee, the child emitted a chilling laugh, slowly turning his head to reveal a terrifying visage. "The world is foolish. They will forever believe only what their eyes can see." At the city gates of Chentang Pass, charred corpses hung high, a sight that struck terror into the hearts of onlookers. The dark vine spirit once again transformed. This time, he assumed the guise of an ordinary townsman. Standing beneath the city gate, he pointed at the corpses that hung in sight, vociferously accusing Lin Xiaozha of heinous crimes. "Behold, Nezha has ruthlessly committed murder, an unforgivable sin." After a brief pause, he feigned outrage, declaring, "If this child remains alive, Chentang will surely perish. We can no longer tolerate him." As the dark vine spirit continued to incite the crowd, their emotions surged. Soon, the people's fury towards Lin Xiaozha reached a boiling point. They began to gather stones and wooden sticks, surging towards the city's outskirts, shouting, "Slay Nezha, avenge our fallen kin." All of this unfolded before Lin Xiaozha, who had just returned to Chentang Pass. He stood atop the watchtower, overlooking the blood-soaked streets below, his heart ablaze with rage. Dark Vine Spirit, you seek death, he roared, leaping towards the direction of the Dark Vine Spirit. Under the discernment of the Crimson Flame Demon Eye, the Dark Vine Spirit's disguise was rendered futile. On the ground, the Dark Vine Spirit sensed Lin Xiaozha's presence. A sardonic smile crept across his lips as he swiftly fled towards the city's outskirts. Think you can escape? Not so easily, Lin Xiaozha bellowed, transforming into a streak of crimson lightning in pursuit of the Dark Vine Spirit. However, the Dark Vine Spirit moved with astonishing speed, vanishing at the end of the street in the blink of an eye. Lin Xiaozha relentlessly followed, reaching the moat. Help! Nezha is coming to kill us. The Dark Vine Spirit screamed, feigning fear as he rushed towards the townsfolk. Hearing this, the townspeople turned, only to behold Lin Xiaozha charging towards them with fierce intent. At that moment, an elderly woman suddenly shrieked, "It is indeed Nezha. Quick, kill him." Her hair was disheveled, her eyes bloodshot, appearing deranged. "I witnessed him slay Widow Zhao. He is a devil. He will destroy our Chentang Pass." Upon hearing her words, the townsfolk, who had initially harbored some trepidation, began to chant in unison, "Kill him! Kill him!" Chapter 18. The Dark Vine Spirit's Conspiracy. The townspeople unraveled. Lin Xiaozha focused intently, noticing a slender black vine protruding from the back of the elderly woman's neck. So it was you behind this. The realization dawned upon him. The old woman had fallen under the control of the Dark Vine Spirit, becoming its puppet. You guessed correctly. These are indeed the citizens of Chentang Pass. If you dare, go ahead and slay them all. The taunting voice of the Dark Vine Spirit echoed from all directions into Lin Xiaozha's ears, laden with mockery. Meanwhile, the clamor for Lin Xiaozha's downfall grew ever louder as the townspeople, emboldened, began to close in on him step by step. Lin Xiaozha was seething with rage as he gazed upon the townsfolk, ensnared by the Black Vine's malevolent influence. A voice within him incessantly beckoned, "Kill. Eliminate them all." It was the power of the demonic core within him, stirring restlessly. He fought valiantly against the urge to slay, for he understood that these individuals were merely blinded by the Black Vine's deceit, momentarily stripped of their fundamental judgment. In this dire situation, even if he attempted to elucidate the truth, it would be utterly futile. Suddenly, a middle-aged man burst forth from the crowd, obstructing the townspeople's advance. "Halt! Have you all lost your minds?" Anyone with a modicum of sense would realize that Nezha could not possibly be the perpetrator. He has even saved us in the past. Yet, his voice was swiftly drowned out by the cacophony of bloodthirsty cries. "Nezha, you fiend! You slaughter innocent civilians. May you meet a wretched end. Blood for blood. Kill him. Exterminate the menace at Chentang Pass." A woodcutter abruptly swung his axe, charging towards Lin Xiaozha. Seeing a leader arise emboldened the remaining townsfolk, their eyes ablaze with fervor, resembling a frenzied horde as they brandished their weapons and surged at Lin Xiaozha. "Get away!" Lin Xiaozha furrowed his brow, wielding the magical silk to sweep away the foremost attackers. Yet, an even greater tide of townsfolk soon enveloped him. "Ha ha ha! Nezha, do you see this? These are the very people you fought to protect. They no longer believe in you, for foolish humanity only trusts what their own eyes perceive." The voice of the Black Vine echoed once more in Lin Xiaozha's ears, seemingly aimed at thoroughly unsettling his spirit. "Silence!" He lashed out with the magical silk once more, dispersing the approaching townsfolk. With a sudden thrust of his fiery spear, he darted through the crowd, piercing a townsman who had been lurking at the rear. Blood erupted, staining the earth crimson. The scene fell into a deathly silence. Then, a gasp reverberated through Chentang Pass. "Murder! Nezha has committed murder." In an instant, the townsfolk, who had initially intended to assault Lin Xiaozha, recoiled in terror, fearing they might unwittingly fall victim to his wrath. The demonic core. He is the demonic core. He will surely bring ruin to Chentang Pass. Kill him. Avenge our fallen kin. It is he. He is the one who slaughtered my wife and child. The townsfolk tightened their grips on their weapons, their expressions tense as they fixated on Lin Xiaozha. Yet, they remained oblivious to the creeping black vines emerging from the earth nearby, slithering toward them like serpents. "Fiend, you are unworthy of being human." Someone hurled a hoe at Lin Xiaozha, unleashing a torrent of curses. "Be silent." Lin Xiaozha was enraged, swiftly turning to face the individual, his eyes burning crimson. "How dare you?" In a flash, he appeared before the man, his small hand grasping the other's throat before hurling him backward. "Since you claim I am a monster, let me show you who the true demon is." "Ah!" The man screamed in terror. Yet, as he soared through the air, he caught sight of the vine wall that had appeared behind him, and his pants were instantly drenched. "A monster!" he shrieked, crashing against the vine wall with a thud. The tendrils ensnared him, pulling him into the wall's depths. No, please. Nezha, I was wrong. I beg you. Save me. Now you realize your mistake? Humph. It's too late. Lin Xiaozha's gaze was devoid of pity. The man's cries for help were soon drowned out by the sound of writhing vines. The scene before them left the townsfolk in a state of shock, halting their actions in disbelief. At that moment, Lin Xiaozha's eyes blazed with fury. He scanned the surroundings and discovered that many townspeople bore slender black vines connected to their necks. It was these tendrils that had ensnared their minds, rendering them unable to distinguish right from wrong. You think such childish tactics can ensnare me? Lin Xiaozha scoffed, raising his fiery spear, its shaft igniting in a blaze of demonic flames. With the swiftness of a tempest, he charged toward the townspeople ensnared by the black vines, the spear flashing like lightning. The tendrils shattered upon impact, and those once trapped slowly regained their senses. What has happened to us? You were ensnared by the black vine demon and sought to kill me. Lin Xiaozha replied curtly, his gaze falling upon the vine wall. Help! A faint, childlike cry emerged from within the vine wall. The townspeople turned in unison, discovering several children ensnared within the tendrils. Their little bodies were tightly bound, with only their heads and limbs visible, faces pale and desperate as they cried out, "Don't kill me. I'm scared. Mother, save me." A young girl cried out to the crowd, her voice hoarse and faint. In her eyes reflected the grotesque visage of the black vine demon, chilling all who beheld it. Lin Xiaozha's gaze fixed on the children, flames of fury igniting within him. Damn it! He swung his fiery spear toward the vine wall. With a dull thud, the spear pierced one of the vines. In that instant, one child's body trembled violently as an arm was brutally torn away by the tendrils. Blood gushed forth, instantly staining the child's clothing. Ah, it hurts so much. The piercing cries of the young child sent a jolt through Lin Xiaozha's heart. He abruptly withdrew his spear, retreating in haste. Ha! Nezha, carry on. I now share a bond with them. Should you dare to harm me, they shall undoubtedly perish. Lin Xiaozha fixed his gaze upon the mocking visage grinning from the vine-laden wall. This was an overt scheme. The moment he made a move, the first to fall would surely be those innocent children. Yet, if he refrained from action, how could he confront the dark vine demon? Woo-woo, don't kill me. I'm not ready to die. A girl with pigtails cried incessantly. But in the next moment, a black flower stamen suddenly emerged from her mouth. At the center of the flower, several vines shot forth, their tips adorned with a ghastly face, opening a gaping maw to bite at Lin Xiaozha. Break it! The spear whirled, shredding several of the demonic vines, yet the children's lament momentarily halted its momentum. In that brief pause, several vines pierced Lin Xiaozha's right shoulder, dark venom surging through the wound towards his core. Damn it! A blaze erupted from within Lin Xiaozha, scorching a trail of blue flames along the injury. Chapter 19. The intent of the vine demon. The disturbance of the heart. The air was thick with the nauseating scent of blood, so dense it felt suffocating. Hundreds of inky black vines erupted from the earth, each entwined with a child, some still in swaddling, others merely 5 or 6 years old. The children's innocent faces were etched with terror, their heart-wrenching cries echoing through the air. The vines lifted the children high, suspending them amidst the chaos, intertwining to form a grotesque barrier of flesh and blood. The connection between the children and the vines was inseparable, with barbed thorns deeply embedded in their tender flesh. As the vines writhed, the air resonated with the sound of cracking bones and the children's anguished wails. Ah, mother, save me. A little girl struggled for breath as the vines constricted around her. She reached out her frail arms, desperately clawing at the air, her eyes filled with despair. Beasts, seeking death. Lin Xiaozha roared in fury, swinging his celestial silk toward the grotesque barrier. However, recalling the previous scene, the silk halted mid-air, paralyzed by fear. A colossal demonic face materialized from the barrier, grotesque and menacing. The dark vine demon emitted a piercing cackle. Keek. Nezha, do you not pride yourself on your righteousness? Do you not aspire to protect the people of Chentang Pass? Strike. I shall make you the instrument of these children's demise. They will perish because of you. You are a murderer. Ha! Within Lin Xiaozha, the demonic flames surged, his mind in tumult. I shall not allow you to succeed. Even if I am burdened by sin henceforth, today I shall rend you to pieces. He gritted his teeth and roared, stepping into the void, transforming into a crimson meteor as he aimed his spear at the heart of the flesh barrier. Yet, just as the fiery spear was about to pierce the barrier, Lin Xiaozha caught a glimpse of a figure in his peripheral vision. It was a stout woman, now kneeling on the ground, tears streaming down her face as she desperately bowed to Lin Xiaozha. Please, I beg you, do not kill my child. Please, do not take her life. She is so small. Her voice was nearly a rasp from crying, her forehead bloodied from striking the ground, crimson liquid flowing down her cheeks. Lin Xiaozha's heart clenched painfully, but his assault could not be halted. "Xiaozha, hold your hand." At that critical moment, a silver figure darted into the fray like lightning. Mrs. Yin rushed forward, clad in silver armor, wielding a demon-slaying sword, her body drenched in blood, resembling a goddess of war emerging from the depths of hell. She charged toward the flesh barrier, her sword unleashing fierce energy that disrupted the attack of the fiery spear. "Xiaozha, listen to your mother. There must be a demon core within the earth's veins. That is the lifeblood of this creature. Only by destroying the demon core can we truly eradicate the vine demon." As Mrs. Yin swung her sword, she transmitted her words quietly. However, the vine demon seized the opportunity to strike back at her. Vines lashed out violently, coiling toward Mrs. Yin like venomous serpents. Thud! A vine, sharp as a spear, pierced through Mrs. Yin's shoulder blade, instantly staining her silver armor with blood. "Mother!" Lin Xiaozha's heart shattered at this sight. Unleashing a heart-wrenching howl, Mrs. Yin endured the excruciating pain, grasping the vine that had impaled her, and with a fierce twist, she snapped it with a crack. Yet, the vine's tip remained lodged in her body, blood gushing forth from the wound. Mrs. Yin shook her head at Lin Xiaozha. Turning to block a gap in the flesh barrier with her own body, she unleashed all her strength to subdue the vine demon, shouting to Lin Xiaozha, "Xiaozha, hurry, I cannot hold on much longer." As her words fell, Mrs. Yin struck her shoulder hard, blood spraying forth like a fountain onto the vine wall. Strangely, the vines recoiled as if encountering a nemesis, emitting hissing sounds as they withdrew. Lin Xiaozha hesitated no more, realizing this was his mother burning her essence for his chance. He turned abruptly, his eyes a deep crimson. The flames blazing atop his head flickered with a black aura, a sign that his demonic nature was about to awaken. "Vine demon, I shall bring your demise." The demonic energy emanating from him surged forth like a torrent breaking free from its dam, raging uncontrollably in an instant. He was enveloped entirely, forming a black vortex around him. At the vortex's center, Lin Xiaozha clenched his fists tightly, blood streaming through his fingers. With a fierce stomp of his foot, a thunderous sound resonated. The ground beneath him shattered instantaneously, spiderweb-like cracks radiating outward in all directions. "Open for me." Lin Xiaozha struck with both fists, dark demonic energy entwined with crimson flames swirling around them. The two forces intertwined, creating a terrifying power brimming with destructive potential. With a single punch, he struck the ground forcefully, causing it to collapse as if struck by a meteor from the heavens, forming a vast pit. Rock shattered, and earth churned, clouds of black dust spiraling upward, obscuring the sky. At the bottom of the pit, a bottomless fissure yawned like the gaping maw of a colossal beast, extending infinitely into the depths below. Without a moment's hesitation, Lin Xiaozha leaped into the chasm, his body descending rapidly as he formed hand seals, his weight akin to 1,000 tons. Inside the fissure, darkness enveloped him, rendering his hand invisible. The air was thick with the acrid stench of sulfur and the earthy scent of soil, inducing nausea. Lin Xiaozha closed off his sense of smell, while the wind howled around him, echoing like the cries of vengeful spirits, sending chills down his spine. With hand seals, he activated his technique, accelerating to unprecedented speeds, leaving behind a trail of afterimages within the fissure. As he delved deeper, the temperature plummeted and the air grew thin. Fortunately, he had already sealed his olfactory senses. Otherwise, he would have struggled to breathe. Before long, a massive shadow emerged below. Lin Xiaozha's heart stirred, and he activated his fiery demonic gaze. Peering intently, he discovered a colossal tree gnarled like a heart, entirely ink-black and covered in a dense network of vines resembling human blood vessels. Each pulsation of the tree's core emitted a deep, resonant thump, akin to war drums, unsettling the mind. This tree core housed the demon core of the black vine demon, serving as its source of power. Towering at 3 zhang, it resembled a gigantic black crystal, exuding a chillingly evil aura. "You hypocritical beings! Were it not for the resentments of the townsfolk to nourish me, how could I manifest in this world? Should you dare to provoke me, you shall face dire retribution." Chapter 20. Villagers' Acknowledgement. The Demon Pill from the Heart. The roar of the black vine demon resounded from the demon core, shaking the entire subterranean space. Stalactites from the cave's ceiling fractured and fell, producing a series of thunderous impacts. Lin Xiaozha gazed coldly at the immense demon core before him, his eyes brimming with an inexhaustible bloodlust. With a swift motion of his hands, the celestial silk descended from the heavens, akin to a dragon emerging from the sea, sweeping towards the demon core. As the celestial silk traversed the air, it tore through the atmosphere, emitting a piercing whistle. The might of the sacred artifact effortlessly shredded the 7 layers of defensive vine armor surrounding the demon core. Black liquid splattered in every direction, resembling a rain of darkness cascading from above. With each layer of vine armor that the celestial silk obliterated, the pulsations of the demon core intensified, its aura becoming increasingly potent. Yet, Lin Xiaozha remained unfazed. He continued to wield the celestial silk, relentlessly striking at the core of the demon heart. At last, when the final layer of protective vine was mercilessly torn apart by the celestial silk, the true essence of the demon core was revealed. It resembled a throbbing heart, albeit in a pitch-black hue. Die! Lin Xiaozha roared, baring his fangs as he sank his teeth into the outer shell of the demon core. Crack! The shell was violently breached, a gaping fissure appearing under the immense force of his bite. A cruel smile crept upon Lin Xiaozha's lips as he plunged his hands into the crack, tearing with all his might. A nauseating sound erupted from the depths. As he forcibly ripped open a gash in the demon core, shards of black crystal and violet demon blood splattering everywhere. With each inch he tore apart, he sensed the demonic aura of the black vine demon waning. Simultaneously, the flesh and blood vine wall on the ground began to show signs of loosening. Demon blood trickled down his throat, and intricate black patterns emerged on Lin Xiaozha's back, flickering like flames or blossoming lotuses. This was the magical insignia of the fiery red lotus, a sign that his cultivation was on the verge of breaking through. Time seemed to blur as Lin Xiaozha absorbed the terrifying energy contained within the demon core, relentlessly pushing beyond his limits. Eventually, a black talisman materialized above the demon core, inscribed with twisted crimson characters that hinted at its sinister nature. "Ah, Nezha, my master will not spare you." The voice of the black vine demon emanated from the core, filled with unending resentment. However, before it could finish its words, Lin Xiaozha exerted a massive force, completely tearing the demon core in two. Boom! The core exploded, scattering countless fragments in all directions. The voice of the black vine demon abruptly ceased. Simultaneously, the flesh and blood vine wall crumbled, and numerous black tendrils fell to the ground like withered branches. The children ensnared by the vines plummeted from the sky, and Madame Yin breathed a sigh of relief as she soared upwards, catching the falling children in her embrace. She was drenched in blood, her silver armor completely stained crimson. Yet, on her face, there was a look of serene satisfaction. Rain began to fall from the sky, seemingly intent on cleansing the lingering malevolence in the city. Lin Xiaozha's figure landed steadily in the center of the market ruins, his body smeared with black mud, remnants of the black vine demon's core. He gazed upwards, allowing the raindrops to wash over him. With a long exhale, he seemed to release all the pent-up frustrations from his chest. Everything appeared to have come to an end. Wang the blacksmith emerged from the crowd, holding an umbrella and cradling a warm flatbread in his rough hands, the aroma wafting through the air. "Young Master Nezha, thank you so much for saving my daughter." Lin Xiaozha was momentarily taken aback as he accepted the flatbread, its warmth seeping through his palm, igniting a warmth in his heart. This was a promising sign. Since his birth, apart from his parents, no one had ever shown him kindness. Just not being scolded was a blessing, let alone receiving food. "Ah, it's no big deal." He grinned, taking a bite of the flatbread, which was crispy on the outside and tender within, carrying a faint scent of wheat. As he savored it, he turned to Madame Yin and asked, "Mother, can I go out now to slay demons?" "Child, perhaps it is best to wait until your father and Master Tai return. You are still young. Isn't it better to play at home?" "Not at all." Lin Xiaozha leaped onto the city wall and sat cross-legged on the edge, munching on his flatbread. His gaze swept over the townsfolk below, then turned towards the distant sea, silently pondering. "Oh, Bing, it is nearly time for you to be born, isn't it?" He understood his mother's concerns, yet in order to swiftly enhance his abilities, he felt compelled to venture forth. He could not remain forever within the confines of Chentang Pass. A flower in a greenhouse, if it does not weather the storm, how can it flourish? Moreover, he was no ordinary flower. He was a cactus. Time passed. The night at Chentang Pass was eerily quiet. Suddenly, a strong scent of the sea wafted into the Li residence. Lin Xiaozha, seated cross-legged on the rooftop in meditation, suddenly opened his eyes, his pupils narrowing into slits. "Seeking death," he growled, flipping off the city wall and landing soundlessly. In the blink of an eye, he vanished into the night. Following the incident with the vine demon, Madame Yin had lifted his house arrest entirely. Yet she still forbade him from leaving the pass on his own, citing the dangers outside. The dark alleyways were shrouded in mist, and the figure of the sea demon quietly emerged. Its body was covered in dark green scales, sharp claws glistening like blades, and viscous liquid dripped from its mouth. The ground was slick, emanating a nauseating stench. The sea demon exuded a chilling aura, a sly grin spreading across its massive jaws. The sharp fangs glimmered with a cold light, aimed directly at an innocent golden retriever lying on the ground. Hee. It has been ages since I last tasted blood. The sea demon opened its gaping maw, revealing its razor-sharp teeth, poised to devour the dog. Monster, release that golden retriever. A thunderous shout pierced the night sky. Almost immediately, a flash of red light appeared as Lin Xiaozha descended from the air. At that moment, the sea demon's fangs were merely 3 inches from the dog's head, on the verge of swallowing it whole. In a critical moment, the magical silk of the heavens shot forth, ensnaring the dog's neck and pulling it away from the sea demon's jaws. How dare a mere sea creature wreak havoc on land? Lin Xiaozha crushed a piece of blue brick with his bare feet, producing a sharp crack. Who is this little brat? Do you think you can interfere while I enjoy my meal? The sea demon struggled against the tightening magical silk, releasing a jet of dark green water as it gasped for air. The water arrow, reeking of a foul stench, shot straight at Lin Xiaozha's face. Do you dare to retaliate? With a flick of his wrist, Lin Xiaozha manipulated the magical silk like a serpent, swirling the water arrow into a miniature water dragon before sending it back at the sea demon. Ah! The sea demon cried out in pain as it was struck by its own water arrow, leaping about in agony. Realizing it was no match for Lin Xiaozha, it abandoned the fight, transforming into a puddle of seawater and fleeing towards the outskirts of the city. Hey, where do you think you're going, monster? Lin Xiaozha let out a peculiar cry and chased after the fleeing sea demon. Chapter 21. The Demoness Flight. The Sorcerer's Delight. Where are you running to? Lin Xiaozha shouted, seizing the cosmic ring and smashing it onto the ground. A flash of golden light erupted, sending ripples through the air. A cast iron pot from a roadside stove leapt 3 meters high. He deftly caught the flying lid and hurled it forcefully, causing it to skim past the sea demon's forehead. Startled, it yelped and dashed away. You deceitful little brat. Resorting to hidden weapons. Hidden weapons? Lin Xiaozha smirked. What I threw is a legitimate weapon. As he spoke, he grabbed a piece of clothing hanging nearby and tucked it into his waistband. Whose undergarments are these? I shall borrow them for a moment. Stop, young master. Oldly. The night watchman rushed forward, lamenting the sight of the bamboo pole. It belonged to Widow Wang, who had just bought it. His voice echoed through the empty streets. But Lin Xiaozha paid him no heed. The fire spear clattered over the stone-paved street, sparks flying as they landed on the wonton stall's sign. With a sugar-coated hawthorn in one hand and the fire spear in the other, Lin Xiaozha chased after the dark figure, shouting, "Stop running. Would you prefer it steamed or braised? Choose one." The sea demon, terrified for its life, fled wildly, overturning a total of 18 wonton stalls along the way, scattering tables and chairs everywhere. Observing the chaos, Lin Xiaozha's lips curled into a smile. He leisurely pursued, calling out as he ran, "Hurry up. I'm about to catch you. What time is it? Are we not allowed to sleep?" The citizens, abruptly awakened from their slumber, peered out in anger. Their voices fell silent upon recognizing the figure of Lin Xiaozha, surrounded by a halo of red light. Instead, the sound of windows being locked echoed throughout. This little demon was causing a ruckus in the dead of night. Yacha hurled a roadside basket behind him, hoping to create obstacles to delay Lin Xiaozha's pursuit. Rotten radishes, rotten cabbages, scatter like celestial maidens. Lin Xiaozha kicked the troublesome basket aside and seized a radish, launching it with precision at the demon's rear. "Go for it, young master," cheered an elderly woman. "Catch that monster, and I'll gift you a basket of eggs. All right, just remember to deliver them to my residence." In a panic, Yacha darted into a dead-end alley. His beady green eyes scanned the walls, landing on a pile of pickling jars, and a plan formed in his mind. With a whoosh, he transformed into a stream of water and slipped into one of the jars, muttering, "You can't find me, you can't find me." After a while, Lin Xiaozha strolled into the alley. Crimson flame demon eyes, activate. He raised his hand to his eyelids, golden light swirling forth. Everything within the pickling jars came into his clear view. There he spotted Yacha, stifling laughter as he hid in the 7th jar. Suppressing his amusement, Lin Xiaozha picked up a wooden stick and began tapping the jars one by one. "Oh dear, how did I lose track?" He stomped his foot, feigning frustration as he approached the jar where Yacha was concealed. "Has this jar of pickles come to life? Allow me to ignite some excitement." As he spoke, a cluster of true fire ignited in his palm. The moment the flames erupted, the jar lid flew off with a bang. Yacha burst forth, his head adorned with pickled leaves, a bright red chili pepper dangling from his mouth. How audacious. I am here. Who are you calling Grandpa? Lin Xiaozha brandished his fire-tipped spear, thrusting it forward until the tip pressed against Hai Yacha's throat. Young master wants compensation for candied hawthorn money, losses from the wonton stall, damages to the stove, and emotional distress. With each item he named, he pressed forward, forcing Hai Yacha back against the wall, leaving him nowhere to retreat. In the distance, a lantern slowly illuminated a graceful silhouette atop the watchtower, Madame Yin. Her hand gripped the railing tightly, fingers turning pale. Only when she saw the demon bound with the heavenly silk and swung like a meteor by her son did her taut shoulders ease slightly. A glimmer of surprise flashed in her eyes, and her lips involuntarily curled into a smile. This boy has managed to control his demonic nature. A maid, holding the lantern, hesitated to speak but eventually pointed cautiously towards the West Street. Warning, madam. The young master has shattered all the tiles on West Street. No matter. Charge it to the master's account. Madame Yin waved her hand dismissively. Unconcerned. Tomorrow, go to the storeroom and draw 10 taels of silver. Just say that the general empathizes with the common folk and has specially approved funds for the repair of houses. The maid glanced back toward the direction of the general's residence, sighing. It seems the general's salary this month will again be in deficit. At that moment, footsteps echoed through the alley. Lin Xiaozha tugged at the mottled tail of the sea demon, leaving a winding trail of moisture on the cobblestones. The sea demon was thoroughly disoriented, its head spinning. It emitted a series of mournful wails. Growing weary of the game, Lin Xiaozha raised his hand and tossed out a hypnagogic roasting furnace. He stepped on the demon's tail to prevent its escape. Then, he rummaged through his system space and produced an array of jars filled with various spices and seasonings. You have 2 choices, be roasted or roast yourself. The sea demon, terrified, cried out in despair, its face smeared with snot and tears. Grandfather knows he was wrong. It wailed, attempting to covertly smear its mucus onto Lin Xiaozha, hoping to petrify him with its own ability. Yet, being a traveler from another world, Lin Xiaozha was well aware of its powers. With a deft flick of his toe, he kicked the sticky substance into the demon's mouth. After that, he fished out a pair of underpants from his pocket and stuffed it into the demon's mouth. The sea demon immediately began to choke, rolling its eyes in distress, tears streaming down its face. You wish to petrify me? It seems you are the one who desires to be sliced. How does your own mucus taste? Lin Xiaozha extracted a glass vial and scraped off the solidified goo from the demon's mouth, recalling that his master had mentioned a shortage of alchemical materials. Just borrowing a bit. He made a gurgling sound in his throat, his cheeks puffing out like a pufferfish about to burst. With a soft pop, 3 pearls the size of pigeon eggs appeared in his hand. The pearls were extraordinary, shimmering with a kaleidoscope of colors under the moonlight, radiating a lustrous glow. The sea demon cradled the pearls in its hands, presenting them to Lin Xiaozha as if offering a treasure. Spare my life. This is a personal stash I have guarded for a century, a token to buy my survival. Is this all? Lin Xiaozha weighed the pearls in his hand, squatting down to poke the demon's belly. I've heard that seafood is highly nourishing. Steamed can enhance cultivation, while charcoal roasted can temper the flesh. Tomorrow, bring 2 deep-sea lobsters. The sea demon, weeping profusely, responded, No, 10. With spirit herbs and dipping sauce. Lin Xiaozha tilted his head in contemplation, the night breeze ruffling his tuft of hair. Deal. He suddenly broke into a grin. It would have been much better had you been agreeable from the start. Oh, and remember to choose claws larger than yourself. The sea demon, overjoyed, hurriedly rolled and crawled toward the gate with remarkable speed, its scales scraping against the cobblestones and sparking with each hurried movement. Once the sea demon had departed, Lin Xiaozha, pleased, began to play with the pearls as he walked home, only to collide with. Madame Yin emerged from the street corner, clutching a food box, curiosity etched upon her face. Mother, what brings you out at such an hour? Feeding mosquitoes in the middle of the night? Madame Yin replied, Chapter 22, The East Sea Beach, the Master of the Demon Pill. At dawn, clad in silver armor, Madame Yin mounted her warhorse. In her hand, the demon-slaying sword gleamed with a cold light, her demeanor exuding a commanding presence. Casting a glance back, her eyes fell upon Lin Xiaozha, who was voraciously gnawing on a chicken leg. Jar, mother is off to slay demons. You stay and guard the home. Understood, mother. Lin Xiaozha nodded vigorously, cheeks puffed out as he mumbled a reply, embodying utmost obedience. As the sound of hoofs faded, he promptly discarded the chicken bone, leaped 3 feet into the air, exclaiming, Seafood buffet, here I come. With that, he dashed forth, transforming into a streak of red light, racing towards the East Sea Beach. On the East Sea Beach, the sea yaksha strode about, exuding confidence alongside two towering lobster spirits, each standing 3 fathoms tall. That brat is merely at the chi transformation stage. This time, with my 2 aides, I shall easily subdue him, he muttered, brimming with self-assurance. At that moment, he envisioned Lin Xiaozha being thoroughly taught a lesson, and a sinister grin spread across his face. Just then, Lin Xiaozha, riding on the clouds, arrived at the East Sea beach, leaving a trail of sparks in his wake. From a distance, he spotted the sea yiksha and the 2 colossal lobsters. Goodness, they are indeed enormous. He screeched to a halt before the 3 demons. Upon seeing the lobster's massive pincers, Lin Xiaozha's eyes sparkled with delight, saliva nearly spilling forth. As he laid eyes on Lin Xiaozha, the sea yiksha glanced at his formidable assistants and prepared to boast, "Behold the twin fiends of the East Sea." But before he could finish, Lin Xiaozha's fire spear shot forth like a bolt of lightning. With a swift thrust, the spear pierced through the bodies of both lobster spirits. Wow, Brother Yiksha, you are quite generous. Just imagine the amount of meat from such large lobsters. With that, Lin Xiaozha produced a roasting grill and placed the 2 lobster spirits upon it, beginning to roast them. In their final moments, the lobster spirits gazed at the sea yiksha with expressions of shock. Brother Yiksha, wasn't this supposed to be a leisurely slaughter? As the enchanting lullaby played, the grilling furnace erupted in flames, enveloping the lobsters in a warm embrace. The rich aroma of seafood wafted through the air, detectable for miles around. It was evident that Lin Xiaozha's fire control had reached an exceptional level. Char-grilled lobsters, 7/10 cooked for the most tenderness, he declared, continuing his culinary endeavor. As Lin Xiaozha greedily inhaled the fragrant aroma wafting through the air, drool had already dampened his apron. Meanwhile, Hayacha, witnessing the scene before him, turned pale with fear, his once smug smile frozen in place. This scenario seemed awry. How could this young man be so formidable? He had initially assumed Lin Xiaozha was merely a novice, accompanied by 2 lobster spirit brothers, easily subdued. However, the reality far surpassed his expectations. At this moment, the 2 lobster spirits lay peacefully on the grill, serenely listening to soft melodies, exuding an unusual tranquility. Hayacha stood frozen, a chill surging from his feet up his spine, reaching the crown of his head. It dawned on him that he had inadvertently kicked a steel plate. The seemingly infantile figure before him possessed strength that exceeded his wildest imaginings. Just then, Lin Xiaozha clapped his hands, turning towards him with a satisfied expression. Their eyes met, causing Hayacha to involuntarily shudder, nearly collapsing to his knees. Lin Xiaozha, oblivious to the shift in demeanor, gazed at the steaming lobsters on the grill, a slight smile gracing his lips. Brother Yacha, it's your turn now. Thud. This time, Hayacha truly knelt. Grandfather, spare me. I promise never to do it again. He repeatedly bowed his head in desperate supplication, his heart racing with fear. What is wrong with you? Lin Xiaozha asked, bewildered, as he helped Hayacha to his feet. I merely wished for you to taste how exquisite these lobsters are. Why are you kneeling? Ah, if only you had said so earlier. He sprang to his feet, moving towards the grill, his expression suddenly somber. Farewell, my lobster brothers. With tears in his eyes, he tore off a piece of lobster leg and popped it into his mouth, his eyes lighting up. Oh my, this is delicious. Brother, your culinary skills are remarkable. Why don't we collaborate and set up a stall? Hayacha rambled on, completely oblivious to the subtle shift in Lin Xiaozha's expression. Just moments ago, Lin Xiaozha had received a system notification. Ding. Quality labor detected. Task initiated. Subdue Hayacha. Upon completion. Reward, seafood production machine. Automatically generates 10 pounds of oysters daily. The sudden system alert made Lin Xiaozha unable to resist licking his lips, a wicked smile creeping onto his face. He glanced at Hayacha, who was enthusiastically discussing their future, and brandished a sharp spear, delicately pressing it against his throat. Acknowledge me as your master. Or will you choose to end up like these 2, roasting on the grill? Tell me your answer. Lin Xiaozha's eyes glimmered with a fierce intensity, as if he truly harbored murderous intent. Gulp. Hayacha struggled to swallow the morsel in his mouth. His complexion instantly drained of color, dread flooding his heart. What was happening? Had he been discovered? He suddenly knelt on the ground with a thud, raising his hands high in a gesture of surrender. Master, I am proficient in all aspects of bathing and massage, and I can even perform the crab dance. Please do not kill me. As long as I can survive, I would not only acknowledge you as my master, but would even serve as a mount if necessary. After all, those 2 lobster brothers serve as a cautionary tale and are still steaming away. Lin Xiaozha was momentarily taken aback, seemingly not expecting such an easy submission. System. This should count as completing the task, right? Ding. Congratulations, host, on successfully completing the task of subduing the sea Yasha. You have received the reward, seafood production machine. Lin Xiaozha's expression brightened. He chuckled to himself, feeling relieved that he would no longer have to worry about seafood. He turned to the sea Yasha, a mischievous smile creeping across his face. Let's save the dance for tomorrow. For now, you can be my mount. With that, he deftly wrapped the mixed celestial ribbon around the sea Yasha and even tied a thoughtful bow. Now, take me to your lair. Yes. The sea Yasha glanced down at the bow on its chest, nodding helplessly. What a predicament. This brat couldn't possibly intend to treat me as a mount forever, could he? The sea Yasha's thoughts were unknown to Lin Xiaozha, who mounted the sea Yasha and soared through the waters, feeling a rush of exhilaration. Where is your lair? Deep beneath the sea, there is a village of sea demons, home to many of my kin. The sea Yasha replied earnestly, fearing it might anger this unpredictable little demon. Hurry, take me there. Lin Xiaozha urged excitedly as they dove deeper into the ocean. Chapter 23. Evasion and the Slaying of Demons. The sea Yasha carried Lin Xiaozha swiftly toward the abyss, 300 miles away from Chentang Pass. The Yasha tomb, the burial ground of the sea Yasha clan, was Lin Xiaozha's destination. He performed the water avoidance technique, sitting securely on the broad shoulders of the sea Yasha. The ocean water was frigid, yet it could not extinguish the anticipation burning within him. This was his first experience with diving, and it felt exhilarating. As they descended deeper, the surrounding light began to dim gradually, and the water became increasingly cold. The intensifying water pressure demanded more spiritual energy for the water avoidance technique. How much longer until we arrive? Lin Xiaozha asked impatiently. The sea Yasha shuddered slightly, glancing up. We are almost there. As he spoke, his speed increased even further. Various oddly shaped fish swam by, and occasionally, eerie sounds echoed through the depths. Lin Xiaozha couldn't help but shiver. The deep sea was far more ominous than he had imagined. Before long, an underwater mountain range came into view. A profound cave stood out strikingly, resembling a menacing maw poised to consume. From the depths of the cave emanated chilling wails, the source of which remained a mystery, sending shivers down the spine. The sea Yaksha pointed towards the cave's entrance, informing Lin Xiaozha that it led to the Yaksha tomb. As they traversed the cave, they successfully entered the tomb. Yet the sight that greeted Lin Xiaozha sent a wave of unease coursing through him. Human skeletons lay scattered about, some in a state of decay, while others still clung to remnants of flesh. Their postures varied, frozen in the poses of their former lives. Through that gaping mouth, it seemed one could still hear their tales of terror and despair in their final moments. In addition, bizarrely shaped corals flourished around them, each a different hue, dotting the ocean floor, emanating a faint green glow. These were the toxic corals, sustained by the grievances of the drowned. Master, do not wander aimlessly. Should you inadvertently touch those corals, you may be poisoned, the sea Yaksha kindly cautioned, guiding Lin Xiaozha onward. Before long, they arrived at the central area of the Yaksha tomb, where a massive underwater altar stood, upon which lay a colossal seashell. The shell towered at nearly human height, its surface a deep black adorned with strange, intricate patterns. This was the 10,000 devouring seashell, enshrining the vengeful spirits of over 1,000 drowned souls, an artifact of my kin. As he spoke, the sea Yaksha knelt in reverence before the shell. Lin Xiaozha approached the altar, acutely aware of a thick, chilling aura. Where are your other kin? He inquired with curiosity. At this, the sea Yaksha's expression darkened slightly. They have all been imprisoned. Imprisoned? Lin Xiaozha faltered momentarily, then recalled the infernal underwater realm depicted in the Nezha storyline. Is it because of the dragon clan? His gaze flickered, and he refrained from probing further, opting instead to initiate his daily check-in. Congratulations, host, on successful check-in. Today's check-in location, Eastern Sea Yaksha Tomb. Reward, Shape-Shifting Pearl. Shape-Shifting Pearl. Usable 3 times daily. Each use allows transformation into seawater for a quarter of an hour, rendering one immune to any attacks and capable of passing through obstacles. Side effect, emits a strong fishy odor for half an hour, with a 10 chance of attracting underwater beasts. This is quite amusing. Lin Xiaozha grinned, eagerly experimenting with the effects of the shape-shifting pearl. With a mere thought, he instantly transformed into a mass of seawater, engaging in a game of hide-and-seek with the sea Yaksha beneath the waves. Once the effects of the pearl dissipated, Lin Xiaozha returned to his original form with a splash, and indeed, a potent fishy smell enveloped him. Ugh, this scent is overwhelming. He pinched his nose and voiced his complaints, while the sea knight demon distanced itself with an expression of disdain. What are you hiding from? Lin Xiaozha raised his hand in anger. Yet, Before he could finish his words, a tremendous sound suddenly erupted from outside the cave. Shortly after, a colossal figure slowly emerged from the darkness, revealing itself to be one of the deep-sea monstrosities, the explosive lanternfish. This behemoth measured an impressive 100 feet in length. Its body adorned with hard scales, a mouth filled with razor-sharp teeth, and enormous lantern-like eyes gleaming with a ferocious light. It was evident that it had been lured by the scent emanating from Lin Xiaozha. Not good. It's the explosive lanternfish, the Sea Knight demon exclaimed, quickly retreating behind Lin Xiaozha. Lin Xiaozha too felt a sense of impending danger from the creature. Clearly, the lanternfish's prowess surpassed his own. Strike first. Without hesitation, he summoned the cosmic silk to ensnare the massive creature. However, the sheer strength of the lanternfish was overwhelming. It effortlessly broke free from the bindings and opened its gaping maw to bite down on Lin Xiaozha. Thus commenced a cataclysmic battle. Although Lin Xiaozha possessed considerable strength, he found himself outmatched by the deep-sea sovereign, the lanternfish. As the fierce confrontation unfolded, Lin Xiaozha gradually found himself at a disadvantage. Observing this, the Sea Knight demon roared in frustration. Puffing up its cheeks, it expelled a stream of petrifying bubbles in an attempt to disrupt the lanternfish's movements. However, the bubbles not only struck the lanternfish, but inadvertently affected Lin Xiaozha as well, leaving both petrified. The Sea Knight demon was momentarily stunned. It hastily used its mucus to dispel the petrification from Lin Xiaozha. Surprisingly, the petrification effect on the lanternfish also began to diminish. In a moment of desperation, the Sea Knight demon seized the 10,000-byte sea conch and blew into it. A wailing lamentation surged forth from the conch, momentarily disorienting the lanternfish's sight and actions. Run! The Sea Knight demon shouted at Lin Xiaozha. The urgency in its voice pierced through Lin Xiaozha's senses. Before he could react, the lanternfish unleashed a deafening roar, its massive body quaking violently, shattering the petrification like fragile glass. Its scarlet eyes locked onto Lin Xiaozha, foul breath spewing forth, reeking of decay. The beast violently swung its tail, sending the Sea Knight demon crashing against a massive reef, instantly staining the surrounding waters with crimson blood. Lin Xiaozha watched helplessly as the Sea Knight demon curled in agony. A tempest of fury surged within him, unleashing a wild power from deep within. At that moment, the might of the demon pill erupted in full force. With a thunderous roar, Lin Xiaozha emitted an aura of dread, radiating an intimidating demonic energy. His eyes burned crimson, reminiscent of a hellish azura, as he wielded a fire-tipped spear ablaze with fierce flames, exuding an aura of annihilation. He transformed into a streak of black lightning, rushing towards the massive lanternfish demon with astonishing swiftness. The spear, imbued with cataclysmic power, plunged mercilessly into the creature's abdomen. The sound echoed like a blade slicing through leather. The fire-tipped spear pierced the demon's thick skin effortlessly, and blood gushed forth like a fountain, staining the surrounding waters crimson. The colossal being emitted a piercing scream, its vast form trembling violently. It could scarcely fathom that this seemingly feeble demon child possessed such terrifying strength. Suddenly, its abdomen swelled, radiating a blinding light. Simultaneously, an aura of destruction enveloped the vicinity. Alarmed, it sensed the impending explosion. Chapter 24, Blood Spills in the Eastern Sea. The spirit pearl emerges. The feeble voice of the sea nightshade echoed from afar, causing Lin Xiaozha's expression to change dramatically. With no time for contemplation, he seized the lantern-like organ glowing atop the lanternfish's head and fled. Almost instantaneously, a cataclysmic roar erupted as the massive form of the lanternfish demon detonated. The shockwave generated by the explosion churned the surrounding waters into chaos. Lin Xiaozha was hurled by the force, drenched in blood, his ears ringing with a deafening buzz. Enduring excruciating pain, he activated the escape pearl, transforming into a swirl of seawater, dragging the injured sea nightshade towards the surface. During his flight, the lingering scent of blood on Lin Xiaozha attracted the attention of countless deep-sea creatures, like a beacon in the night. A colossal lobster spirit brandished its massive pincers, obstructing Lin Xiaozha's path. Behind it trailed a horde of grotesque crab spirits. The lower-tier sea demons, sensing the blood, pursued Lin Xiaozha with frenzied determination, their eyes glinting with avarice, as if eager to rend him to shreds. Seeking death, Lin Xiaozha roared, his gaze icy with murderous intent. He swung the mystic sky silk, akin to the grim reaper wielding his scythe, slaughtering all sea demons that stood in his way. Blood stained the waters crimson, and dismembered limbs floated atop the surface, creating a ghastly carpet of flesh. Lin Xiaozha, drenched in blood, resembled a vengeful deity emerging from the depths of hell. His expression was cold, devoid of any compassion. The sea nightshade trembled in fear, murmuring, "This is bound to escalate." Lin Xiaozha tightened his grip on the fire-tipped spear, its tip pointing downward. As crimson demon blood dripped down the spear's shaft, blooming into sinister flowers upon the surface of the sea. The fleeting tranquility was short-lived. The scent of blood wafted on the sea breeze, soon stirring a tumult in the waters. The waves surged tumultuously. 3 dark shadows surged through the waves, revealing themselves as 3 East Sea thunder sharks. Their massive forms loomed like small mountains, their gray-black skin shimmering with the brilliance of lightning, and their razor-sharp teeth glinting ominously. As creatures of the deep, they possessed an acute sensitivity to the scent of blood. With a ferocious roar, the thunder sharks opened their mouths, causing the sea to churn violently, akin to boiling water. They bared their cavernous jaws, within which flickered arcs of lightning, weaving an electric net that severed Lin Xiaozha's escape route. Lin Xiaozha's gaze sharpened. He sensed that the power of these thunder sharks far surpassed that of the previous sea demons. Yet, he felt no fear. Rather, his spirit ignited with fervor. "Excellent!" he bellowed, and his fire spear transformed into a blazing streak, piercing forth with fervent intensity. The tip of the spear, engulfed in searing flames, seemed poised to ignite the very air around it. With a sharp hiss, the fire spear accurately penetrated the skull of one thunder shark, the flames erupting and reducing its head to ash. The thunder shark let out a wretched cry, its colossal body crashing to the ocean floor, sending forth towering waves. Blood gushed forth, instantly staining the surrounding waters crimson. Lin Xiaozha stood amidst the pool of blood, resembling a vengeful deity, instilling terror in all who beheld him. This was merely the beginning. The remaining 2 thunder sharks were undeterred. They emitted piercing shrieks. The deep, reverberating sounds echoed across the sea. A sense of alarm washed over the sea yiksha. They were summoning reinforcements. Before long, dozens of new dark shapes emerged from the depths, more thunder sharks converging. Among them, some had evidently begun to take on their humanoid forms. It was clear that formidable allies had arrived to assist the thunder sharks. Lin Xiaozha's expression turned grave. He sensed that the spiritual energy within him had waned significantly. If this continued, defeat was inevitable. It appeared he had no choice but to harness the power of the magic pill. He slowly closed his eyes, a surge of violent energy erupting from within him. Suddenly, he opened his eyes wide, his irises now a deep crimson. The flames engulfing his fire spear morphed into a dark hue. Kill! He transformed into a shadow, plunging into the throng of thunder sharks, akin to a dark god of slaughter. Swiftly, he reaped the lives of the thunder sharks, the vivid crimson blood rapidly staining the waters a terrifying red. The remnants of the thunder shark corpses bobbed upon the waves, rising and falling with the tide. The air was thick with the metallic scent of blood. Lin Xiaozha stood as a harbinger of death, unopposed. Time lost its meaning as he stood amidst a mountain of corpses in a sea of blood, slowly raising his gaze toward the horizon. The sea breeze was salty and bracing, mingling with the shattered waves crashing against the rocks, reminiscent of a butchery of demons. In the distance, a golden light sliced through the waves with remarkable speed. "Old demon!" A clear voice rang out. A young boy clad in a black robe was treading the waves. The son of the Dragon King of the East Sea, Ao Bing. Upon witnessing the scene before him, he was rendered speechless with shock. He had come to investigate the presence of demonic energy, but never anticipated encountering such a horrifying spectacle. The landscape was ravaged, blood flowing like rivers. And there stood a child amidst the corpses, drenched in blood, resembling a demon risen from the depths of hell. "Villain, meet your end," Ao Bing roared, transforming into a fleeting shadow as he raised his hand to strike Lin Xiaozha's face. The gust of his palm sliced through the air with a sharp sound. Lin Xiaozha deftly evaded the attack, ready to retaliate. He chose to engage barehanded, seemingly testing his opponent. The two exchanged blows, each impact echoing with a dull thud. Ao Bing appeared casual, yet delivered lethal strikes, moving with the speed of lightning and wielding extraordinary strength. In contrast, Lin Xiaozha seemed utterly relaxed, countering each move effortlessly. In the blink of an eye, the two had clashed for approximately 300 rounds. Ao Bing grew increasingly astonished. He had never encountered anyone who could withstand his onslaught for such an extended duration. Lin Xiaozha's techniques appeared chaotic yet concealed profound intricacies, always anticipating his moves and leaving him at a loss. Frustrated by his inability to gain the upper hand, Ao Bing summoned seawater with a wave of his hand, transforming it into a gleaming ice spear, the Xianbing halberd. Its crystalline body radiated a bone-chilling aura, and as he swung it, the surrounding seawater began to freeze. "Die!" he cried, the halberd slicing through the air with a piercing whistle aimed directly at Lin Xiaozha's chest. Still so young, and yet attempting to wield a weapon? Lin Xiaozha mocked, twirling the Mingtian Ling above him. With a crack, the Xianbing halberd shattered into countless ice shards, scattering through the air. Ao Bing was struck with terror. How could this child possess such formidable strength? He had never anticipated that his prized halberd would be so easily destroyed. In the moment of his shock, Lin Xiaozha swiftly appeared before him, pinching Ao Bing's cheek before pressing him down into the water. The boy's tiny foot covered Ao Bing's face, and his teasing voice ignited Ao Bing's fury. He struggled desperately, but could not free himself from Lin Xiaozha's playful grip. "Call me big brother, or I shall feed you Yasha snot." Chapter 25. "Mother, save me. Father wants to beat me. Call me big brother." Lin Xiaozha feigned a menacing demeanor, resembling a small, ruffled beast. Ao Bing's face turned crimson, ground against the sandy beach, clenching his teeth in defiance, unwilling to utter a sound. Since his birth, he had never endured such a profound humiliation. In the eyes of his kin, he was the pride of the East Sea Dragon tribe, a being revered like a constellation surrounded by stars. Yet he was trampled underfoot by a mere child, still untainted by the world. What a humiliation! How could he possibly endure such disgrace? Quite the audacious spirit. Lin Xiaozha, noticing Ao Bing's silence and lack of anger, instructed the nearby Siyaksha to commence blowing his nose. "What do you intend to do?" Ao Bing's mouth was forcibly pried open by Lin Xiaozha, and he began to struggle desperately, his eyes filled with terror. "Scream! No! Scream!" With every utterance from Lin Xiaozha, the Siyaksha brought the snot closer without mercy. What to do with a disobedient child? Quite simple. Force him to consume his own mucus. Before long, Ao Bing's face flushed crimson with urgency. Yet, he could not free himself from Lin Xiaozha's grasp. Having only just been born a few days prior, he had never endured such torment. Just as the Siyaksha's mucus hovered near Ao Bing's lips, he faltered. His throat bobbed twice. From the pale crevice of Ao Bing's lips, a voice, faint as a whisper, emerged, "Big brother." The tone trembled, laced with a hint of reluctance and humiliation. "I can't hear you." Lin Xiaozha seized the mucus to smear it across his face. "Big brother, big brother, big brother." Ao Bing's furious roar momentarily halted Lin Xiaozha's actions, startling the Siyaksha. Why such a loud outburst? Lin Xiaozha retaliated with a swift punch to Ao Bing's head. Suddenly struck, Ao Bing felt a profound sense of injustice. Fortunately, Lin Xiaozha released his grip at the right moment. However, as he withdrew his hand, he casually snatched the jade ornament from Ao Bing's waist, treating it as a token. Why not do this sooner? Lin Xiaozha, satisfied, clapped his hands, wearing an expression of triumph. "Follow me, and I shall ensure you lead a life of abundance." He looked down upon Ao Bing, a devilish smile curling at the corners of his mouth. Ao Bing, struggling to rise from the ground, wiped the gravel from his face. He cast a complex glance towards Lin Xiaozha before silently turning away. Lin Xiaozha made no effort to stop him, dragging the Siyaksha along as they proceeded towards Chentang Pass. The East Sea, a realm of torment, eerie and terrifying, with ghostly flames flickering. Ao Bing, battered and bruised, limped before Ao Guang, recounting the events in detail. "What?" The Dragon King of the East Sea, Ao Guang, erupted in fury, his dragon whiskers flailing as his eyes blazed with fire. "How could my son, the Dragon King of the East Sea, be subjected to such humiliation?" As he spoke, he prepared to take Ao Bing and reclaim his honor. However, Shun Gongbao quickly intervened, stuttering in inquiry, "My apprentice, do you know the name of your assailant?" Ao Bing clenched his small fists, his teeth grinding audibly. "His name is Nezha." "What?" Concurrently, in the Chentang Pass, within the Li residence, Lin Xiaozha entered, bearing the wounds of the Siyaksha. To his surprise, Li Jing and the Taoist Master Tai had returned from the Yushu Palace. Upon seeing Lin Xiaozha, Li Jing's expression darkened. "Xiaozha, why did you leave the residence without permission? Did I not instruct you that you are not to step outside the Li residence without my consent?" "Mother allowed me," Lin Xiaozha boldly retorted. "Nonsense. How could your mother possibly?" Li Jing, filled with disbelief, raised his staff to strike. "Wait." The Taoist Master Tai interjected, stepping forward to intervene. Li Jing paused, turning to the master with a puzzled expression. "Master, what do you mean by this?" The Taoist master offered no reply, instead casting a significant glance at the Siyaksha beside Lin Xiaozha. At that moment, Mrs. Een stormed into the courtyard, still dressed in her battle attire. exuding a spirit that rivaled that of any warrior. The faint scent of blood mingled with the earthy aroma carried by the breeze, reminiscent of a lioness returning triumphantly from battle. Upon spotting her, Lin Xiaozha darted forward like a cannonball, clinging to her leg and, with an innocent expression, complained, "Mother, father wants to hit me with the Santing staff." "Li Jing, what are you doing?" Mrs. Yin's brows furrowed, her eyes wide with fury, her voice booming like thunder, causing dust to rain down from the beams above. She enveloped Lin Xiaozha in her embrace, akin to a hen shielding her chick. Faced with this, Li Jing instantly cowered. He hastily thrust the staff, which felt like a hot potato, into the hands of the Taoist master. "Li Jing," the Taoist master exclaimed. With a forced smile, Li Jing attempted to explain, "Madam, it is not as it seems. Allow me to clarify. It was Xiaozha who sneaked out again, and that's why it was I who permitted Xiaozha to go out to play. Do you have a problem with that?" Mrs. Yin interjected, glaring at Li Jing with fierce intensity as she advanced towards him. Li Jing instinctively took a few steps back, steadying himself against the Taoist master. "Madam, why are you also being unreasonable? Do you not remember that Xiaozha?" Before he could finish, Mrs. Yin interrupted. "What about Xiaozha? Am I being unreasonable? It seems to me that you are the one who is confused." She pointed her finger at Li Jing, her tone resolute and unyielding. "Xiaozha is the great hero who saved all of Chentang Pass." "A great hero?" Li Jing was utterly bewildered, completely at a loss for what had transpired. Seeing his confusion, Mrs. Yin recounted in vivid detail how Lin Xiaozha had outsmarted the hiding demon to protect the townsfolk. Her narration was so animated it felt as if she had witnessed the events herself. In her excitement, she seized the trembling Si Yiksha beside her, lifting him as one would a chick. "Do you see? Xiaozha can now control it with ease." At this point, Mrs. Yin paused, momentarily taken aback. She lowered her head to glance at the battered Si Yasha in her grip, only to realize that she was holding a creature of the supernatural. To her astonishment, she hurled the Si Yasha to the ground, drew her grand sword, and bellowed, "Bold creature, how dare you invade my abode and cause mischief? Behold my blade." The Si Yasha, struck by the swiftness of Madame Yin's transformation, was utterly terrified. He scrambled to his feet and fled around the courtyard in a desperate bid for escape, crying out, "Unjust! Madam, I am but a humble servant of Lord Nezha. Please, cease your pursuit." Lin Xiaozha swiftly intercepted, deflecting Madame Yin's sword aimed at the Si Yasha. "He has already acknowledged me as his master." Upon uttering this, he cast a disdainful glance back, exclaiming, "TSK, TSK, look at your cowardly demeanor." He felt a pang of regret for having taken the Si Yasha as his subordinate. Such timidity was a disservice to his own stature. "What? The Si Yasha acknowledges you as master. From the moment of birth, it seems. He shall serve as my demon servant. Impressive, isn't it?" Lin Xiaozha declared with an air of pride, raising his little head as if showcasing a trophy. "Demon servant?" Madame Yin, along with Tai Junren and Li Jing, exchanged astonished glances, all gazing incredulously at Lin Xiaozha. Indeed, Lin Xiaozha nodded triumphantly. At that moment, the Si Yasha, with a woeful expression, approached Lin Xiaozha, lamenting through tears and snot, "Master, your mother is too terrifying. Shall we not find another mother?" "Huh." Lin Xiaozha's smile faltered as he was about to cover the Si Yasha's mouth, but alas, it was too late. Madame Yin cracked her knuckles ominously, transforming into a towering figure that charged toward him. "Ah, ah, ah." The Si Yasha's cries echoed throughout the Li residence, sending shivers down the spines of all who heard. Afterward, Lin Xiaozha looked at the Si Yasha, bruised and battered, and shrugged helplessly. "Serves you right. Who told you to speak out of turn? Woe is me. I am truly pitiable." The Si Yasha lamented, his sorrowful voice piercing the heavens. "Enough, enough." Tai Jinren chuckled at Madame Yin, stepping forward to mediate. Though the Si Yasha might have spoken out of turn, he doesn't deserve such a fate. With that, he turned to Lin Xiaozha and said, "My dear disciple, let me see the extent of your cultivation now." Lin Xiaozha spread his hands, inviting inspection nonchalantly. Tai Jinren shot him an exasperated glance, producing a mirror-like artifact and directing it toward Lin Xiaozha's forehead. "Stay still. Let me ascertain your cultivation level." However, just as the mirror reflected Lin Xiaozha's crimson belly band, a thunderous explosion erupted, akin to a clap of thunder on a clear day, shaking the entire Li residence with a tremor. Crack! The mirror shattered instantaneously, resembling a spider's web, and in the next moment, it disintegrated into fragments scattered across the ground. Witnessing this scene, Tai Jinren's eyes widened, surpassing even the size of copper bells, his mouth agape as if it could accommodate a goose egg. "This is impossible. Even the spirit testing mirror cannot withstand such force. What on earth is your cultivation level? Lin Xiaozha feigned innocence, blinking his large eyes. Could it be that you possess a defective product? Get out of here. Tai Jinren suppressed his astonishment and retrieved a dark stone tablet from his robe. The spirit testing tablet. Li Jing exclaimed. Jinren, you even brought such a treasure. Tai Jinren ignored his amazement, performing hand seals as the tablet swelled in size. Crashing down into the courtyard. Jar, place your hand upon it. Lin Xiaozha complied obediently, and as his small hand touched the stone tablet, it erupted in a dazzling brilliance. Once the radiance subsided, several large characters were conspicuously displayed on the tablet. Refining spirit, returning to void, initial stage. A collective gasp echoed through the courtyard. The demon-suppressing sword in Li Jing's hand clattered to the ground. Crack! Lady Yin, gripping too tightly, crushed the nearby rockery, sending shards flying, yet she remained oblivious. Her gaze fixated on the characters on the tablet. Refining spirit, returning to void. Isn't that nearly on par with me? Tai Jinren exhibited the most exaggerated reaction, stumbling backwards, colliding with the flying divine pig, which sent him sliding 3 yards across the courtyard, toppling 7 flower pots along the way. With a resounding crash, the flying divine pig let out a pained squeal, dissipating into a cloud of smoke. Refining spirit, returning to void, initial stage? Tai Jinren murmured, eyes brimming with disbelief. This child has been alive for less than a month. No, even accounting for the time in the womb, barely over 3 years. To attain such a level at just over 3 years? This is simply more monstrous than I was in my youth. Lady Yin trembled as she picked up a piece of shattered stone, grinding it into powder that trickled between her fingers. Jar hasn't he even reached 1 month. Li Jing gazed upwards at the sky, suddenly feeling as if his decades of arduous cultivation had been in vain. Observing the astonished expressions of the three, Lin Xiaozha felt an overwhelming sense of exhilaration, hands on his hips, laughing heartily. How about that? Am I impressive? You little rascal, who do you think you're calling impressive? Lady Yin rushed over, delivering a playful smack to Lin Xiaozha's head. Yet, before the pain could register, she enveloped him in her embrace, exclaiming, my dear son, you make me so proud. Li Jing stood silently nearby, though his admiration was unmistakable. At that moment, Tai Jinren regained his composure, shaking his head as he approached Lin Xiaozha, unable to suppress a deep sigh. My disciple, your talent is truly remarkable. I find myself at a loss for words. After some contemplation, I summoned the flying heavenly pig. This treasure was initially intended to be bestowed upon you 3 years hence. However, let it serve as my gift of congratulation. From this moment forth, it shall belong to you. Lin Xiaozha's eyes sparkled with delight as he leaped onto the back of the flying heavenly pig, excitedly urging it onward. Suddenly, a flash of brilliance enveloped the pig, transforming it into a pair of wheels ablaze with flames, the legendary wind-fire wheels. With a mere thought, Lin Xiaozha stepped onto the wheels, gradually ascending into the sky. Simultaneously, the mystic tangle, coiling around him, appeared to awaken, standing tall behind him, exuding an aura of grandeur and power. Congratulations to the host for assembling the 3-piece set. Henceforth, you shall embody the most audacious Nezha in the 3 realms, earning the reward. Volume 1 of the 9 Transformations of the Mystic Arts. The mention of the 9 Transformations of the Mystic Arts ignited a spark in Lin Xiaozha's eyes. Huh, how exhilarating. He laughed heartily, his heart brimming with ambition. Suddenly, a thought crossed his mind, and he turned to look at Li Jing and Madame Yin. Father, mother, I wish to venture out and hone my skills. Li Jing and Madame Yin exchanged glances. This time, they did not flatly refuse as they usually did. After all, Lin Xiaozha's displayed talent and strength had far exceeded their expectations. The couple pulled the Grand Master Tai aside, whispering in deliberation. Master, what do you think? Li Jing inquired, somewhat uncertain. The Grand Master stroked his beard and replied, General, Madam, in my humble opinion, it would be a disservice to keep such extraordinary talent as Jar confined within Chentang Pass. It would be far better to allow him to explore the world. He may achieve even greater feats. Though reluctant, Madame Yin recognized the wisdom in the Grand Master's words. With a sigh, she conceded, you speak truly, Master. Yet, Jar is still quite young, and I worry. Fear not, Madam, the Grand Master assured, thumping his chest. I shall personally accompany Jar and ensure his safety. Then we must trouble you, Master. Li Jing nodded, then turned to Madame Yin, speaking softly. However, Jar is the reincarnation of a demon. Might there be concerns? Rest easy. General, I shall guide him towards righteousness, ensuring he does not stray onto the path of darkness.